The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. They can tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high, I wonder when it all goes now, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to those in television land. Happy Tuesday to our silent supporters. Happy Tuesday to everyone in the chat. Hope everyone has had a wonderful and productive start to the week. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. Let me just send a special shout out to all our channel members. Thank you so much for the continued extra support. And also a special shout out to all our moderators. Tonight's topic is Silver Bangles Looming with your host, Mystic Sensation. And we also have Melting Pot in the building. Mr. Rattigan will not be with us tonight. So we will just be us, Melting Pot and Mystic Sensation. Let me just welcome those in the chat. Miss Jamuptan, Dorothy McCoy, Paul Wilson, Laris Beckford, Patel Cruikshank, Anthony R., Carla Ebanks, Rosa, Daphne Bryan, Carl, Charles Beckford, Jonathan Johns, Beverly, Pamela Oko, Cecile Phillips, Pamela Okolo, Gloria Blyden, Sadie Lynn Gale, Freedom. Oh, he just jumped. 1 sec. No, Freedom, yeah. Christopher Lawrence, Winnie Mead, Althea Wilson, Ahua Ku. Out of many one people, Muriel King, Bloomy Coleman, Rolando, Librance, Dr. H. Mark, One Indian, Malmal Thompson, Anne-Marie McDonald, Christopher Wright, Lasso Morelli, Fiona Burnett, Bernal James, Elaine, Elaine Morgan, Ranchel Taylor, Andrew Buchanan, Nolene, Moncrief, Kirk Wong, Get a Wave, bless up yourself. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate everyone's continued support. Before I hand over to Byron, let me just do this. Okay, so everybody knows Patricia, affectionately known as Miss P. So she is starting a business venture in our community where she is going to go into the callaloo business, selling callaloo. So her slogan is gonna be from the bag to the pot. So she's gonna like have it cut up, bagged and stuff. So you just need to wash it and prepare it. So she is targeting persons like in the bamboo area in St. Anne for local sales. And also she's willing to deliver to Montego Bay, Spanish Town, Falmouth, Kingston and the environs, and she's planning to do all island once she is more established. So anybody wants to support Miss Miss P in this venture can just message us, and then we will give her information to whomever want to order for now until she figures out how she is going to do it in the long run. So she's also targeting persons with restaurant, cook shops, and just everyday housewives. Yeah, so this is her business venture, callaloo, and it says from the bag to the pot. That's her slogan. So please, 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 those who are in St. Anne and are tuning in, you want callaloo, link up Miss P through us. Just message us on our WhatsApp number. Let me just put it up there to stream, and we will get you in touch with Miss P to make your orders until she figures out how she's gonna do it otherwise. Without any delay, let me hand over to Byron.
All right. Thank you, honey, for that wonderful precursor, as always. And, you know, I just cannot start without bigging up all my subscribers, right? You know, love you all. And thank you for the awesome support that you have been giving this channel. We really appreciate it, and we love you. And, you know, we are here, right, fighting a true cause. Right, before I bring in Melting Pot, I just want to say something as it relates to Jamaica Labour Party administration. And we are going to delve deeper as it relates to the extradition. And from we came out with the extradition, right, we are anticipating that the Jamaica Labour Party to answer, to explain to the Jamaican people what is happening, and persons who are listed as it relates to the extradition. However, the Jamaica Labour Party maintain their silence, and that is unacceptable. Let me say this. That is unacceptable. The scale of the damage as it relates to SSL. You have persons in the United States who are affected, persons in Jamaica who are affected, and of course, we are not going to stop until we get justice. So tonight, we are going to deep dive, right? We are going to speak on the issue of collaboration, let me say this, as it relates to Nigel Clark, Andrew Holness, Hugh Croskery, and Mark Croskery, and what Andrew Holness had done in facilitating SSL to commit atrocity against Jamaican people. I am going to show you evidence that they know that SSL did not have a license, nor SSL register. And not only SSL Jamaican people, it's deeper than that. I'm going to show you evidence as well that all lint that Andrew Holness involved in was not licensed, was not registered. Cash Plus that Olint, that Andrew Holness involved in, was not licensed and was not registered. We can't make up this. The scale of the damage that Andrew Holness perpetrated, Darrell Vaz perpetrated on the Jamaican people is extremely alarming, unbelievable. So let us have Melting Podcast. We are not going to waste any time, right? We just want to get into the evidence that they cannot be disputed. Cannot be disputed. So without any delay, let me just have Melting Pot meet and greet his people. Melting Pot.
Pleasant good night to everyone. It's good to be here once again, enjoying the company of you all, everyone in the chat, people back home who are just merely watching. It's good to have you all here. I just want to say, I hope you all have a pleasant day and enjoying a chill night in the company of Mystic Sensation. We are here tonight and we have a lot of information to process, So we will, as usual, just do the basic, because that's what we are good at. Disseminating all lies and corruption and all these practices that they, carry out, as we know, on a day-to-day basis. So I just want to big up everyone, of love and respect. Big up some special people down at ground zero, as usual. Always have you in our heart and thought, because they are out there experiencing a very traumatic period in your life, So we just want to just give you our love and hope that you find comfort within what we say, and just hope for changes will come in a relatively soon period of time. But as we all know, you just have to be strong and resilient, because everyone have their own know-how and techniques of getting through rough period in life. Pick up some people in a 2 mile as usual, Payne Avenue, Union Guard, Buchan Lane, Norman Lane, Kid Lane, right around Kingston 13 and 11 and them places there. Yeah, man, just pick up everyone, enough love and respect, Melting Pot. Yeah, and back to the host, Mystic Sensation. Oh, I forget,
Right.
pick up the technical director. I forget, man, Lady Anne Marie can't do that. Can't do that, Lady Anne. So big you up, see because you have the gold finger, them, You touch and project everything as we go along. So pick up yourself. Yes, sir, Lord Byron.
All right. Blessings, blessings. To my Jamaican people, before I start, I want to really have a song, tributed to those people who are suffering right now. And just want to say to them that, we are here. We know that Jamaicans are resilient, and, Father God will never leave us alone. Israel, the God of Israel, the God of Jacob, the God of Joseph, the God of Daniel, right, will always protect us. And we know that Andrew Holness and his Philistine, right, will never conquer. Tonight, we are going to show them that God is always with his people. We have gone through 400 years of slavery and we have survived. Right? We were built resilient. We break any barrier. We break any chains. And what they had done, we are going to bounce back. So let me just dedicate this song, right, to you people, right, who are suffering as it relates to Melissa. This one is for you, from my heart, from Mystic Sensation, from Melting Pot, from Lady Mystic, right? Let us dedicate this song to you. All right. So we'll be get into serious issues after we play this song, but just to all the people in saying that We are here for you and we are fighting for you. And let me say this, Jamaican people, right? Redemption is near. And I guarantee you this, redemption is near. Go ahead, honey.
Weight of the world is heavy on me. When the night feels cold and I can't find peace, I lift my eyes to the heavens above. You hold me close in unfailing love. Lord, you are my strength, my song in the night. You carry my soul, you fight all my fights. In you I will trust, forever I'll stand. My refuge, my savior, holding my hand when my spirit is weak and I cannot go on. Your mercy reminds me that I still belong. Your word is my life, my hope and my shield. In your holy presence, my soul is healed. Lord, you are my strength, my song in the night. Song in the night. You carry my soul, carry my soul. You fight all my fight, all my fight. In you I will trust, you I will trust. Forever I'll stand, ever I'll stand. My refuge, my savior, savior, holding my hand, filled with power. Though mountains may tremble, though waters may roar, your grace is unshaken, your love is my core. Forever I'll praise you, forever I'll sing. My strength and my portion, my God, my King. Lord, you are my strength, my song in the night. You carry my soul, you fight all my fights. In you I will trust, forever I'll stand, ever I'll stand. My refuge, my savior, savior, holding my hand, in my hand. Lord, you are my strength, Lord, you are my strength. Forever my song, forever my shield. To you I belong.
Take it away, honey.
When the way
To all my Jamaican people, yeah, we love you. And that's why we do this. And we have to fight the Philistines. Now, Jamaica, let me get down into serious atrocities. And let me say this to Andrew Holness administration. The extradition treaty, the extradition file case is on the desk of the DPP. And guess what? Let me say this. There is no power that you have to avoid this. Persons are going to be charged and prosecuted because of the evil and the atrocities done against Jamaican people. We are going to expose Andrew Holness for who he is and the atrocity that he brought against the Jamaican the Jamaican people, the atrocities that he brought. Now let me put up this and show you that in his DNA is 100% scammer. Now, without any delay, and this is what upset me when I saw this, right? I was so upset when I saw this picture of Andrew Holness. People look at it. And someone wrote, this picture says a lot about our most honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness. And he have in his hand a book, The End of Poverty, after 10 years, Jamaica. This is what we face. And this is a scammer who believe he can use PR, who believe that he can create spin machines. But let me say this to you, Andrew Holness. Big Mama cannot help you. Draws Davis cannot help you. And no narrative that Bruce Golding came out with to try to blame or put any blame on Donald Trump, to say that Andrew Holness can be whisked away in the night for no reason. Bruce Golding, you are disingenuous. You know what is happening. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. And we are going to show the public it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. So whether Donald Trump wants to be the president as he is, or if tomorrow morning Donald Trump should leave the presidency, the extradition still hold. So this is not about Donald Trump. This is separate and apart as it relates to the wrongdoing that Andrew Holness, Hugh Croskery, Mark Croskery, Hardin, Meany, and an entire entourage, Darrell Vaz, who basically was the General Secretary for SSL, monitoring several accounts in SSL.
Secretary for JLP.
Right? And so then, we have to look on that as it relates to Darrell Vaz monitoring several accounts for GLP operatives in SSL. Delano Steve Wright, you know that you have also an account in SSL and you have benefited. Things are come up to bump, you know. And you know this is a fact, Delano Steve Wright, because you can't dispute it. Now take this away, let me show the Jamaican people that what is happening here as it relates to the extradition has nothing to do with Donald Trump and want to blame Donald Trump. This is in the pipeline and it's coming down. And Andrew Holness administration cannot avoid it, cannot spin it. And let me say this, your administration rushed to charge Hugh Croskery and Harding to try to play strategy in holding back the extradition, to say that, okay, you have a case here with them to slow up the extradition. Let me tell you something, Andrew Holness. You're playing in deep waters and you have no life jacket. You're playing in deep waters, right? Now, let me show Jamaican people that what happened as it relates to the People's National Party set policies and procedures in place to protect the Jamaican people. And that is what catching up on Andrew Holness now, because of the policy implementation of the People's National Party. The People's National Party signed a treaty, a memorandum of understanding that the United States, as it relates to drugs trafficking and guns and money laundering and scamming, persons can be extradited to the United States. Let us show evidence of the treaty. So then, Bruce Golding, you can spin whatever you want to spin, right? Because you know that things are coming down in the pipeline. We are not going to allow you to spin it. Let us show Jamaican people, right, the agreement. Here it is, people. Law enforcement extradition treaty between the United States of America and Jamaica, right? Signed at Kingston, June 14, 1983. So I want to show people this. I want to show people this as it relates to the treaty between the United States of America and Jamaica. So don't play with this, right? Note by the Department of State, pursuant to Public Law 89-4-497, approved July 8, 1966, the treaties and other international acts series issued under the authority of the Secretary of State shall be competent evidence of the treaties, international agreement, other than treaties and proclamation by the President of such treaties, and international agreement other than treaties, as the case may be, herein contained in all codes of law and equity and of maritime jurisdiction, and in all the tribunals and public offices of the United States and of several states without any further proof or authentication hereof. When you come over here, people, you'll get the evidence, right, on this channel, on this platform. This is the reason why you're here. Let us show you the evidence, right? So Bruce Golding, you can't spin this, right? This is something well entrenched. Extradition treaty between the government of Jamaica, United States of America, and the government of Jamaica, the government of the United States of America, and the government of Jamaica, recalling the treaty for the mutual extradition of criminals between the United Kingdom and the United States of America, concluded in London in 1931. Noting that both the government of the United States of America and the government of Jamaica have continued to apply the terms of that treaty and desiring to provide for more effective cooperation between the two states in the suppression of crime, and for that purpose to conclude a new treaty for the extradition of offenders. Article 1, obligation to extradite. The contracting parties agree to extradite to each other subject to the provision of this treaty. persons whom the competent authorities in the requesting state have charged with an extraditable offense committed within its territory, or persons who have been convicted in the requesting state of such an offense and are unlawful at large, with respect to an offense committed outside the territory of the requesting state. The requesting state shall grant extradition subject to the provision of this treaty, if there is jurisdiction under the laws of both states for the punishment of such an offense in corresponding circumstances. Article 2, An offense shall be an extraditable offense if it is punishable under the laws of both contracting parties by imprisonment or other form of detention for a period of more than 1 year or by any greater punishment. The following offenses shall be extraditable if they meet the requirement of paragraph A, conspiring in attempting to commit, aiding or abetting, assisting, counseling, or procuring the commission of, or being an accessory before or after the fact, Andrew, unless you're guilty of this, an offense described in that paragraph are impeding the operation of prosecution of a person charged with an offense described in the paragraph. For the purpose of this article, an offense shall be an extraditable offense, whether or not the laws of the contracting parties place the offense within the same category of offenses or denominate the offense by the same terminology, or whether, right, or not the offense is one for which United States federal law requires proof of interstate transportation or use of the mails or other facilities affecting interstate or foreign commerce, such matters being merely for the purpose of establishing jurisdiction in a United States federal court. Line up yourself. Article 3, political and military offenses. Extradition shall not be granted if the offense for which extradition is requested is of a political character. Extradition shall also not be granted if it is established that extradition is requested for political purposes, or it is established that the request for extradition through purporting to be on account of the extradition offense is in fact made for the purpose of prosecuting or punishing the person sought on account of his race, religion, nationality, or political opinion. Let us take that away. Let us start to Jamaican. My Jamaican people, where we are at, let me speak to you before we get into serious things. The extradition situation that sits on the DPP's desk is extremely serious. And we have solid proof that the extradition is on the DPP's desk. So let me say this. Jamaica, buckle up in terms of where we are going. I want to show Jamaica something that United States, as it relates to the treaty, scammers, let me speak to Jamaica, give Jamaica the background. Ordinary scammers who have scammed persons in the United States have been extradited. And been punished by the United States. SSL, the scale of SSL is huge, affected a lot of Americans. Not only that, it affected Americans and Jamaicans. Several transactions hit the Swiss system We are not guessing this. We are telling Andrew honest that his corruption game come to an end. The shit hits the fan. Now let me ask 3 questions before I proceed. I want to ask Jamaica Labour Party administration 3 questions before I proceed, so people can understand the basis of which I speak. Now, based on the recent charges relating to SSL operating without a license, now registered under the Banking Act, can the JLP administration say if you cross-carry along with his daughter Minnie and Harding are subjects of extradition proceedings via the United States? Serious question. My second question would be, can you confirm to the Jamaican public that a total of four seasoned politicians are also indicted on the USA extradition process? Question. My final question. Do you have any awareness that the Craw report handed over to the United States Department of Justice? Now, Jamaican people, let me tell you something. When we say the shit hit the fan, we mean say the shit hit the fan. Let us go through offense of public affairs, right, and show Jamaica how serious this SSL situation is, right? Now, I am going to show you that, of course, these persons, and so then quickly charging you cross-carry. You never know that we are going to figure it out. Yes. And of course, Big Mama can't spin this. Bruce Golden can't spin this. Yes, we are here to dissect and break down. You quickly charge you cross-carry, Harding, and Minnie to hold up the extradition process is not going to work, Andrew Honest. Not going to work. And so then, because you have them in the local court, right, the extradition is going to be delayed. It is not going to work. Not going to work. You are putting yourself, let me warn you, Andrew, you are putting yourself in deep water. And trust me, you are diving without any life support. Now, let me show you a situation as it relates to what people being extradited for. Money laundering. Yes, Andrew Jones. Yes, you cross-carry. Yes, Mark cross-carry. Yes, Mr. Harding. Yes, Minnie. Scamming. And I'm going to open that file to you so you understand what is coming down in the pipeline. I know you know what is coming down in the pipeline. But let me show it to you and remind you, right? So you need to buy extra pampas. Now, open that document. Office of the Public Affairs, 8 extradited from Jamaica to North Dakota to face lottery fraud charges and other charges. Let us get into that and show Jamaican people why this is extremely serious with SSL, right? And we are talking about extradition where that is concerned. And you have heard the questions I have asked. So let me remind you, Andrew Honest, right, what you are looking on. 8 extradited from Jamaica to North Dakota to face lottery fraud charges. This is Thursday, April 27, 2017. 8 Jamaicans charged in a transnational organized crime, advance fee, lottery scam, fraud are now in federal custody in the United States after the Jamaican government ordered them extradited last month. The 8 were arrested in Jamaica over 1 year ago shortly after the United States applied to the Jamaican government to arrest and extradite 14 defendants charged federally in a wire, mail fraud, and money laundering conspiracy investigation dubbed Operation Hard Copy. I don't know what your case is going to be dubbed as it relates to federal charges. The charges allege the scam built at least 90, mostly elderly U.S. residents out of $5.7 million, announced U.S. Attorney Christopher C. Myers of the District of North Dakota. The 8 defendants extradited are Dahlia Elaine Hunter, Kimberly Carla Jean Hudson, Kazare Gray, Daria Palmer, a.k.a. Innocent Palmer, Jason Joseph Jahalal, O'Neill Brown, Alric McLeod, a.k.a. Birdman, a.k.a. Zed Bird, and Exana and Morgan. After years of hard work, we are pleased and grateful the Jamaican government joined us in recognizing the terrible toll of the Jamaican lottery fraud, said U.S. Attorney Myers, until numbers of Americans fall prey. I want you to listen to this, Andrew Honest. I want you to listen to this, Arden, you Croskerry, and Mark Croskerry, because Mark Croskerry needs to be charged. Until numbers of Americans fall prey to scammers, losing millions upon millions of dollars, law-abiding Jamaicans suffer from the effects of increased lawlessness and violent crime associated with the fraud, and that negatively impacts citizens of both countries. SSL had impact citizens of both countries. Cooperation between the United States and Jamaica was key in this extradition and remains integral to combating crime that crosses our borders, said Acting U.S. Marshal Dan Orr of the District of North Dakota. It sends a strong message that no matter the distance and location, the United States Marshals will work tirelessly. Let me remind you that, Andrew Holness, the United States Marshal will work tirelessly to find offenders and bring them to justice. Take it away, honey. Let me break it down for you. Now, Mr. Darrell Vaz, you come in front of the class. Come in front of the class, Mr. Vaz. Because from the time I mention you, you just decide that you are just going to avoid me. You're not going to respond. But you know the reason why you're not going to respond. Right? We have the intel. We have the intel that you were like, let me give you my simile, that you were like the General Secretary in the SSL operating several accounts for the Jamaica Labour Party. Is this true or lie, Mr. Vaz? Can you dispute that? Can you come out to the public and say that's a lie? Now, from inside, we also have the information that you have taken money from SSL to send your daughter to university. Is this a lie or is it true? We are waiting on you to respond. And then we push out other concrete evidence. So what you decide? You decide to just relax and ride it out and you're not going to respond. Jamaican people need to have a response. And we are asking you to respond. Is it a lie that you act like a general secretary monitoring several JLP accounts in SSL? We need to hear something from you. Are you just going to lay, duck, and not respond? We want to hear from you. Now, Let me remind you that you are in the crosshairs of the United States. And I'm going to show you why. And plus, recent activities that you have involved in. And we are going to get later to show the solid proof that Andrew Holness, Nigel Clark, knew very well that SSL did not have a license and have done the vicious atrocity against the Jamaican people, particularly investors. Now let us get into document 1, where Daryl Vaz is concerned. And we know, Daryl Vaz, you are listening. Are you losing any weight, Daryl Vaz? Just asking you. Are you losing any weight? Are you feeling the pressure from up north? From Canada to Jamaica? You're not feeling the cold. Now, the sender said he isn't sure, but here, the real reason why Daryl Vaz lost his US visa, everybody has been busy speculating and lying about the reasons for the revocation of Philip Paulwell visas. Some of the stories read like an action movie, some like a thriller, and others appear to come straight from fantasy land. Yet as we read and digest the Disney-like fantasy about Paulwell's revocation, we hear no reasons for the revocation of Daryl Vaz's diplomatic and visitor's visa. The diplomatic visa, which is granted under right of passage, clauses of the Geneva Convention give ministers and diplomats a free pass to do the country's business. So why would the US rescind the diplomat visa and the B1, B2 visitors visa on October 8 without a specific incident which breached the understanding under which the visa is granted? The US government will tell you there were material breaches by Minister Vaz which caused the State Department, FBI, and DEA to all agree on the revocation and cause pressure on Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Go to document number 2, honey, while we break it down for the people. Document number 2. We are going to show the viciousness and the wickedness of Andrew Holness. Document number 2. The incident involved Vaz travels to Mexico City to collect kickbacks from his Moon Palace Resort connections for his role in the rooms and the beach deal. A prime Jamaican property. The payment of $2 million were made through the Jamaican Commission agent, but Mr. Vaz collected $475,000 in Mexico City. Daryl Vaz, is this a lie? The financial transaction flowed through the US banking system, and Mr. Vaz was fingered. And when consolidated with US real estate and huge construction work at his house in Portland, Vaz was sanctioned. These funds were also used to acquire additional properties in Portland near Monkey Island. The Moon Palace money also led to the Prime Minister, who made a huge, let me read back that over. The Moon Palace money also led to the Prime Minister, who made a huge and illegal cash lodgement to First Global Bank in New Kingston, which the US authorized and flagged because it violated US laws. The deposit was not reported as the law requires. This caused the bank officer, who is a strong JLP supporter and acted as NHT chairman, to be fired. He has since been rehired at the Jamaican Nation. He has since been rehired at Jamaica National Bank by Curtis Martin. Take that away and let us go to document number 3. We are breaking them down, people. Let us go to part 2 of this document. We are breaking them down. He has since been rehired at Jamaica National Bank by Curtis Martin. The investigation at the bank has been blocked by Senator Dan Webby. Senator Dan Webby is no longer here. A GLP senator and chairman of GK Financial Services. However, the US FBI officers who came to Jamaica remain concerned about the transactions. The name Andrew Holness itself, along with Police Commissioner Anthony Anderson, came up for visa revocation within the State Department. Andrew, is this a lie? The US authorities believe that Mr. Vaz is at the center of racketeering, money laundering, and other financial crimes, and their investigation in the US is pointing to the threatening the very existence of the Holness government. The matter is not over. They did warn you. Take that away. We are going to get into the deep crime to prove my case as it relates to SSL being on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Why am I going here? Let me explain it, my Jamaican people. Let me explain it. For Andrew Holness to be aware that SSL have no license and have not been registered, it's very serious. Why am I going here? I'm going to show you evidence also that Olint was not licensed and was not registered. Cash Plus was not licensed, was not registered. SSL flagged, delicensed in 2013 by the People's National Party. And that Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark going forward knew very well that they did not license. People, where I'm going, it is extremely serious. Very, very serious. And I'm going to explain it. You're going to see. Now, let us show the criminality as it relates to FSC, where FSC audit SSL in 2017 and should have known, Jamaica, read my lips. FSC audit SSL 2017 should have known that SSL did not have a license to do any trading, did not register as it relates to the Bank Act. So I'm going to show knowledge, intent, that they know, they knew. Now watch this. SSL to acquire C2W. What they did to facilitate SSL to go on the Jamaica Stock Exchange and all of that, to use it as a PR, to lure persons into SSL, to say that to people who investing in SSL that look, SSL is on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And so then, of course, investors are going to convince that SSL, right, is legitimate. FSC and the Jamaica Stock Exchange aid and abet SSL to get on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. SSL Venture Capital. And I'm going to show you a trick, people, with Mark Croskery. So this SSL Venture Capital that you're hearing about came from the mothership SSL Jamaica Limited. Let me explain this to you. So what happened is that the father robbed the money and the son hid it through SSL Venture Capital. Let me repeat this. The father robbed the money through SSL Jamaica Limited, robbed investors as it relates to SSL Jamaica Limited, and Mark Croskery created SSL Venture Capital in 2018 to do what? To hide the money. They are criminals in the highest order and was assisted by, of course, none other than the GLP administration. Now look at this. SSL to acquire C2W Music in reverse takeover. Reverse takeover. Wednesday 27, 2018. So this is Mark Croskery. And when we say that Mark Croskery is to be charged, it's no joke. Him is to be charged. Security dealer, Stocks and Security Limited will execute a reverse takeover of loss-making music publisher C2W Music through SSL Venture Capital Jamaica Limited. Mark Croskery designed SSL Venture Capital Limited from the mothership of SSL, a nascent subsidiary used as a vehicle for investment. I want people to take note of that. SSL Venture is essentially acquiring C2W Music as a shell from which to operate. The music publisher will be renamed SSL Venture Capital Limited once the transaction is finalized, but the change is subject to shareholder approval. The renamed firm will trade on the stock exchange as SSL Venture. Another extraordinary meeting for that vote is scheduled tentatively for July. A reverse takeover involves a private company acquiring the controlling shares in a public traded one, in a move aimed at taking over the public company and recapitalizing it. But it also allows the private company to fast track its listing. The rescue program of C2W, which has been approved by regulators, was itself outlined and approved at the board level of the companies prior to the extraordinary meeting on Wednesday. The top two shareholders and principals of the company, Ivan Berry and Derek Wilkie, did not participate in the meeting. People wanna come, people, listen. We are basically buying C2W Music and then injecting capital and changing the business operation, said SSL Venture CEO Drew Gray at the meeting held at the Jamaican Stock Exchange in Kingston. SSL Venture Capital is already capitalized with 850,000 US, right, of investors' money from SSL Jamaica Limited. Wicked and vicious, but we'll go back to the market to raise additional funds, right, in order to finance future deals. C2W, meanwhile, last reported negative equity of 236,000 US dollars. Gray indicated that SSL Venture should post earnings per share of 0.05 in its first year. Comparatively, C2W Music had negative earnings per share, having posted a full year net loss of 323,000. The current board and management team has already decided to step down as a part of the rescue mission. Also, we will amend the company articles of association to allow it to operate as venture capital firm and not solely as a music rights recording, said Gray. Stocks and Security Limited already holds a quarter of the shares in C2W Music, or some 105 million of 400 million units. The rescue plan includes acquiring 80% of the total outstanding C2W shares while leaving the remaining 20% in the hands of the general public. The additional shares will be acquired from CEO Ivan Berry, who owns 180 million units, and Chairman Derek Wilkie, who owns 80 million shares. It is likely that SSL will acquire a portion of those holdings, since acquiring the full lot from Berry and Wilkie would push SSL holdings to 91%. Gray said SSL would pay 1 cent per share to acquire the holdings of Berry and Wilkie. The stock currently trades at 59 cents, but the SSL team convinced the C2W directors that the fair value was 1 cent, based on either a discounted cash flow or book value method of valuation, said Gray. The price effectively cut C2W market value to $4 million. The music publisher listed a startup in May 2012 at $1.29 per share after a successful IPO arranged by Stocks and Securities. The companies, whose business model was largely untested in Jamaica, has struggled since its debut to earn revenue. 5 years later, C2W audited financials for year ending December 2017 showed that the company capital had eroded to negative equity $236,000 following the write-down of songwriters' advances to nil versus $270,000 a year earlier. The write-down eliminated the last substantial asset on C2W's book, while its deficits have now accumulated $1.52 million US. This will allow shareholders to recoup some losses if you were holding shares at the initial public price, Gray said, of the rescue plan. The transaction to acquire a controlling stake in a listed company, listen people, under normal circumstances would have required a mandatory takeover offer for the remaining shares in the hands of the public. However, SSL, receive a waiver. People want to listen now, people. We want to prove, as it relates to Andrew Owens and Nigel Clark, right? As it relates to the part and parcel of FSC played in this. SSL, however, receive a waiver and the mandatory offer from Jamaica Stock Exchange. People don't hear that? Let me read that over so you can catch it. However, SSL, however, receive a waiver, which is not supposed to happen. Not supposed to happen. A waiver and the mandatory offer of the Jamaica Stock Exchange and Financial Service Commission. Listen, people, here the two culprits who aid and abet SSL to get on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Let me read it over. The transaction to acquire a controlling stake in a listed company under normal circumstances would have required a mandatory takeover offer for the remaining shares in hands of the public. However, SSL received a waiver from who? And the mandatory offer from Jamaica Stock Exchange and Financial Service Commission, based on factors that including the underperformance of the company and its accumulated deficits. Now, people, it is the first ever rescue plan of a listed company. Everything else that might have been similar was a takeover. But this is the first time, the very first time, the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the Financial Service Commission have approved a rescue plan. Alana Jones, Chief Operating Officer at SSL Venture, said after Wednesday meeting, SSL Venture Capital, which is wholly owned by Stocks and Security, makes investment in a startup companies with a strong growth potential. Take that away on it. I only want to show the people that FSC and the Jamaica Stock Exchange facilitated, aid and abet SSL Venture Capital to go on the market, Jamaica Stock Exchange market, without bearing a license. So SSL Jamaica Limited doesn't have a license. SSL Venture Limited doesn't have a license and doesn't registered as it relates to the banker. And yet, trading, so-called trading that they have never done, more than robbing investors' money. They weren't trading. People, they were not trading. They were robbing investors. Now, let us go to more serious thing. I am going to, before I do that, let me have Melting Pot, right, comment on this before we get into more serious matters. Melting Pot.
Yes, sir, Byron. Well, this SSL thing, I know, it will keep rumbling on until, you know, the right measures take place. Because, I mean, the corruptors are still at large. They're not behind bars. We have to ask the question why. Because everything points to, as well we know, scamming, fraud, money laundering, and all these things. Yeah, as it relates to an entity operating without a license, not being regulated to even there in the space. It's an unregulated entity, but it's operating with a license on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And we have to ask ourselves the question, how comes that happen? Because in reality, that is not possible. You understand? But because you have corrupted people playing a significant role behind a mafia scheme, then it was permitted. Yeah, because we all know that in 2013, under the People's National Party administration, they were removed from practicing. You understand? Citing various allegations of inappropriation within the same SSL. Yeah, and lo and behold, 2017, they were back on the scene. And we know who facilitated that. You understand? Because we know who was in charge of FSC, an individual by the name of Jacqueline Lecker. You understand? And I mean, at the same time, then, who was in charge of the Jamaica Stock Exchange? One, Mr. Keith Duncan. Now, these two individuals must be held accountable, along with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, Nigel Clark. Yeah? And even Richard Biles from the Bank of Jamaica. So what we are looking at, the extended arms of corruptor involved in a mafia scheme to scam and defraud investors. And that's what they certainly did. You understand? Because people were lured into this entity. Yeah? Scam. And then, these men run off and create the fraud. Yeah, by making some money, billions of dollars disappear and leave people out of pocket. So the whole scheme is compromised by people of high society. You understand? And I mean, one that we would never would have thought would have gone back into such a deep well. It's Andrew Hollis. Because coming on the back of Wallington Cash Plus, you'd have think this guy would have learned him lesson. But no, this guy still continued to participate along the line. Yeah? Of that fraud mafia scheme entity that exists all the way back from Paul Chen Young and Associate. Yeah? As we all know it to be Eagle Merchant Bank. And we all know the stake players that were involved there and then. People like Dan Crawford, the banker, Prime Minister Edward Seaga, Adley Shaw, Finance Minister, after that, and I mean, we all know the debacle of such Ponzi scheme and what damage it caused to Jamaica as a country and to investors and a whole. So, in the SSL saga, yeah, it have more extended branch, You have to look at Darrell Vaz as well. You have to look at Michael Leachin. You have to look at Delano Seabright, because he was very, very active in and out of SSL, leading up to the period when SSL was made to be, insolvent, as it relates to high fraud that we know took place and people money gone down the drain. So the whole scenario is that these men must be charged. Yeah? Because when you look at Harding and the two Krasky, as it relates to Mark and you Krasky and many, these people are of interest to this investigation. Nigel Clark is of interest to this investigation. You understand? And the other people from Jamaica Stock Exchange and the FSC. So this thing here, we know it contains a whole heap of substantial information that has been sitting around, after taxpayers pay over 100 million. This vital information has been sitting around in the badness government hands. You understand? Because we have a badness government in Jamaica, We decide say them do things how them please. They don't do things by the book. So we know about, the meltdown in the 90s, yeah. We know about that, the PINSAC report. Them have it. Come back again, them have the crawl report. You understand? And then we ask ourselves the question, why the Jamaica Labour Party think that they own every piece of article in Jamaica, like it belongs to them and them only. Because these are vital information that should be made public by now. But see that it gone abroad. It then at the United States, and it have a use against them in the upcoming investigation. Because you can't play with the Swiss system when you have the vast amount of US dollar trading, the way them are traded through the SWIFT system, operating without license at that. Then what you think Uncle Sam are going to sit back and watch? No, he's not going to just sit back and watch. I allow him for your time. Because what I do, I build and shape the background I'm investigation. I want everybody wearing at the network, So the longer I sit back and relax, more players will come about. Because sometimes some player get tired, they substitute them and them say, oh, I want them on the team too. All right. And they make note of everybody. So now it's time now for him, as it relates to evening of sports. Yeah. Him I go sack everybody now. Time long if you play, and them see some not play the game fair. So I'm have to sack you now. Yeah. I mean I talk about literally sack you in, I'm a sack you in a bag, Them bag where you carry around and bungle up all the crab them. Cause when you catch crab, you have to put them in a bag. Yeah, so you call it the sack. I go sack you now with the crocus bag. I bag him a bag up and bungle up and carry in the US to the State Department, federal. You understand? Because these men are very vicious, malicious, and full of nothing more than corruption. Because when you damage your own local economy and your own people from your country in the manner that these men carry out this type of behavior, it is unbelievable. And I mean, it's a recurring theme. They have done it several times. You understand? So we are just hoping that, everything go through smoothly now, because since the badness government can lock down the inland justice system, then we just see the outer counterpart justice system from US. You understand? And I'm glad that the US have a June 1983 treaty between itself and Jamaica as it relates to extradition and all these things. I welcome such move, because you cannot have a country with high-level criminal participating on a daily basis over a wide range of period of time, but don't pay the penalty for the crime. So I welcome the initiative that the United States has now pursued to, move swiftly towards these corruptors, these scammers, yeah, these fraudsters, these launderers, yeah, pluck them out once and for all. Because if you want to make sure know that, growth and economy sustain in our region where America is the powerhouse, then you can't have corrupt countries, because we know the corruption do it weaken a society. America want all the country them around in the region now based on the geopolitics we are playing to be strong in their economic environment. And him want him US dollar to flow through the system operating on a clean basis, not through a dirty Ponzi scheme mafia thing where money locked in some storeroom for a long period of time. The man wants him money to flow through the sector. So him now have to print no more money. Yeah, using a method with them call quantitative easing. No, because it costs the US government to do such operation. So the US dollar is vital to Donald Trump. I remember Donald Trump is on his way out. This is him last leg. Yeah. So him and make sure no say him do whatever it takes to make America great again. That is mandate to his voters. Yeah. And Donald Trump will make sure no him deliver on that front. So Donald Trump is now doing what Biden should have done. What the Democrats should have done in the time when Biden was president, but failed to accomplish what was need to be done. Donald Trump is now doing that task. And I welcome that with wide open arms. Because Jamaica need cleaning up, Not just from cocaine, but from these mad insane brain where we have in the country. Like the Prime Minister has a mad brain him have. Yeah. Like Nigel Clark. Like all of who you hear me talk about, the Crosskins them and the Arden and the Manny and all them people and the Lecker. And you don't know again, you have the Duncan where we are look on. And the Biles from the bank. Them people need cleaning up. Move them out and clean up the sector now. Because it seems like whenever the Jamaica Labour Party is in power, they have problem with the US dollar. You understand? And remember, it's not the currency of Jamaica. They should be having problem in restoring the value and the strength of the Jamaica dollar. But no, it's just all about the US. So everything is now shaping up and looking good. But it seems like the badness government we have in the country, yeah, is now having a standoff as it relates to making public who are these top 4 senior members from within their party. You understand? Because that should be something, forthcoming to the general public at large. Because you can't keep this in the dark, There's a saying that says whatever is in the dark shall surely come to light. Well, I know America is shining the spotlight and it is shining bright. But Andrew, if you don't want to be, the man that you say you is, where you say you're not afraid of nobody, then come out and talk, no man. Because if you not talk, we are going to talk, And I don't think you want to be put in a position where it seems like you don't know what is going on. Because if you don't talk, Mr. can talk, I can talk, and I know others can name them as well. But we'll leave you with the option because it's within your responsibility as the chief civil servant of the country to come out and make it official. to the public who are these 4 senior members from within the Jamaica Labour Party. And if you so wish, you can speak up the rest as well. Guys, not just the 4, but the 4 is right where you are. Close allies from within the party. Senior member at that. Yeah? Because I know that you could have never lost the distance. Yeah, at the pace that you were operating. You were faster than Usain Bolt in accumulating your wealth. Yeah, rapidly accumulating wealth. That it bamboozle even the Integrity Commission when them see Wagwan, when them peep over your thing and see Wagwan, and then compare it with what you submit to them. Them a say, no boy, God blind tiger from the day them born, them never see a man so steelish like the Prime Minister in Jamaica. The man well cannot be explained because of its high level of participation in these mafia scheme. Now look how the man them construct them thing, no man. The man them clever. I wish university them go, man. I must say Delaware, the fraud university. Yeah. Because here it is, you know. Father and son combination now. How we are look. Father, yeah, him set up SSL. Him steal the money, him pass it on to him son. We set up a new thing called SSL Venture Capital to hide the money. Just look at that. And what them do now? Them use SSL Venture Capital to acquire C2W Music. And them guy are do music, you know. Them are a producer. Yeah. But you see where them go acquire? Yeah. Because now by doing that, now them can merge it together and change the name. You understand? Change up the name now, you know. So what them do, them carry you through. You know, when you go a little boy, you go up a work yard and you go through the maze and you get lost. And last, them want last the Jamaican people, them through the maze. The maze of corruption, of scamming, of money laundering. And for throw up the investigation. And them here talk, man, one last investigator in the maze. You understand? So, but you have now. Remember, you know, when you have big head, you know, like these big head guys, then you all know them not a brain. They don't have any brain. Because what is vital that will trace back everything to them, you know, is the amount of money, US dollar, where they must use or touch the SWIFT system. Come on. These guys are ludicrous, lunatic. Yeah, and then you find some other people now. Yeah, I don't know them attach themselves to the cross crease, but them find them way around them because you always see them, you know, them full entourage, you know, all over the place, you know. Yeah, with some whole heap of photograph, you know, I show up themselves under them dark glasses. You understand? Because here it is now. Keith Duncan. And you are the man in charge of the Jamaica Stock Exchange at the time, and you preside over several other commercial banks in Jamaica, you know. Then, oh, you don't know, so SSL now no license. But in depth on your thing, yeah? And you have come to something that is more stark revelation, and just to show and prove to everybody, oh, now move like so well, you're cooler than the reptile, man. You understand? Because what you know, Lecky and you, Biles, yeah, and you know Nigel Clark in Papro. But watch you know, people, an entity when I analyze, you know, yeah, them people FSC and JSC, yeah, approve them, you know, forget waiver, unregulated, unauthorized, but them a get waiver. What go on here, so?
Explain that.
And that me I say,
Them need to explain that.
Them need to explain that because remember, you know, it's a ghost you deal with. Because if you're not on a lifestyle, you're not regulated, you know. Apparently, you're a ghost. You're not real. You're not live. But them I get waiver. So, boy, I don't know Mr. Duncan. Yeah. You're killing Lecker, Pete Duncan, yeah, Richard Biles, yeah, Nigel Clark, Andrew Holness. You see them 5 that have seniority position in running Jamaica. Can remember, you know, them 5 that me just talk about, you know. Yeah, them control entity that belongs to the state in terms of regulating the finance in the country. SSL now is just a private thing, but here is the government side of thing now merging itself with a private entity that is unregulated. Nobody from out of these names that I call cannot come and dispute what I'm saying. All of them know about this. This is the way of scamming the people them. And they should be ashamed of themselves. Especially the chief civil servant Andrew Holness. Yeah? Because I know like you, I know the guy who promised the Jamaican people and prosperity, you know. It's you. You promised them prosperity. And as a matter of fact, you say you never have deal with promise, you deal with commitment. But here is you, the same one, stealing from them, mashing up the economy that's supposed to sustain these people's life. That's supposed to offer them a better way of life, stronger purchasing power with their hard-earned Jamaican dollars. But like a reptile that is colder than ice, you mash up the people them life. Eh? And you think it's nice? No. Them things that are nice. Yeah? Because the people in Jamaica elect you to represent them to the highest capacity that a leader should exhibit. But what you have done, you have found yourself in the sluice of gutter water and sewage, mixed up with all type of corruption, yeah, and the fraud you own Jamaican citizens. And I find that to deserve something in the region about 500 years. Because a leader should be setting example and leading by example. Yeah, not playing some hanky-panky game with the society and the taxpayers' money and, you know, taking the country for granted and running it like, so well then, it's a nasty scam or a banana republic state or, you know, something that's not recognized. No, Jamaica is a recognizable island, you know, based upon the same people where you are destroyed. Jamaica get it fame not through politicians, you know, outside of Michael Manley, you know. Yeah. Jamaica don't have politicians that raise the flag across the water. It's the common people who abuse the artists and the sport personnel them. Yeah? And them rise the thing. Them rise the thing. And you come up now and you want destroy everything. All the wealth where these people go out and work and achieve and come back and put in a Jamaica. You know, mash it up. Because of, you know, ill-gotten gain, greedy style we wanna have. You understand? And the wealth we wanna have, we can't utilize it now in a lifetime, you know. But we still not decide to stop. So Uncle Sam come now to stop, you know. Once and for all. Clean up Jamaica. Restore Jamaica to its former glory. Where pride can now shine once again. You understand? And you can see the smile back on the citizens' face. Because right now, my people must up at the hands of Andrew Holness, you know. Over the last 10 years, Andrew do to my people in Jamaica, you know. Unbelievably, you know. Andrew have my people like them and no class citizens in Jamaica. Replacing them with people from Asia. You understand? And all these type of atrocity is because this guy is a mafia. This is how a mafia work. A real leader now look out for him people, you know. Mafia destroying people, them. Kind of like them because you want know. The spirit of the Almighty not strive with Andrew Holness as a leader, you know. No. So he becomes evil to the core. You understand? And him rule with that perception of evilness. Even when him speak evil on the society. Because lie is a form of evilness. You understand? And wickedness is a form of deceiving your people, insulting them intelligence. So with Andrew Holness now, as we know him as the undisputed king of lies in the world. Nobody can lie like him. They would, see Jamaica suffer at him hands. Jamaica suffering because when Andrew Holness tried to trick the people, by sending out all these commercials from the Prime Minister office and I use some AI picture and I show all over the internet like Jamaica look like what them a show. That is deceiving and scamming the people. Yeah, show Jamaica for what it is, the way how you mash it up. The way how you mash up Jamaica where all the ferry highway having patrol to kill. Yeah? Stop your AI and your PR, your pure rubbish. It not gonna work. So right now, Andrew, we are give 24 hours to release the name them. Can you see if you make me a mistake come back on Friday night? We are here till Friday night, we are coming on Thursday. But we are here till the weekend Friday, so generous melting parties. Anyhow, tell the DPP, Miss Claudette Thompson, yeah, God, the name them upon this. She need to release the name them at your request. Because the public at large need to know the criminals them. Them know them already, but we want to make it official. Yeah, we don't want to keep it on the balance scale of alleged, undecided, or, unfiltered. Not of that sort. We want to get it authentic now. I think it's full time we get these criminals, establish them, so people can even take them one mugshot at them. You understand? Yeah, because that's what I think I know, Andrew. And that's how you send the thing to. Yeah? Because, anyhow, we are going sooner when the United States come picking up, Yeah. So why not just do the ultimate thing? Because you say you're the ultimate leader, Just do the ultimate thing now, brother. And make the people know on your behalf. I yield back the floor to you, Sir Lord Byron.
All right. Blessings. Yes, Melting Pot. Really love that punch. Right. But I want to answer a question I want to answer a response from someone in the chat who said Darrell Vaz had gotten back his visa. But I want to explain, yes, that is true that he had gotten back a visa, not the visa that he had before that was taken. He got back a visa that comes with conditionality, right? And persons who have that visa that comes with that conditionality, right, reference that they are drugs pusher. So we want to show that, right? We don't want to leave it out there that, okay, all right, Darrell Vaz got back his visa and everything is okay. So we are going to show the evidence that the visa that Darrell Vaz had gotten back, it came with conditionality, right? So it came with conditions. So let us deal with that. Now let me just show the public that don't watch this visa that Darrell Vaz got back. Here it is. Yes, Darrell Vaz had his U.S. visa reinstated in September 21 after it was revoked in 2019. But it came with a special waiver annotation S212D3 bracket A related to suspected controlled substance trafficking, which caused controversy and demands for transparency in Jamaica, though Vaz stated he was cleared by 2022 and the matter was rectified. Now, revocation Vaz U.S. visa was revoked in 2019. Reinstatement in September 2021, the U.S. Embassy in Kingston reissued a one-year multi-entry visitor's visa. So it is a 1 year multi-entry visitors visa B1, B2. The waiver annotation, the visa included a rare S212 bracket D bracket 3 sub bracket A waiver indicating reasons for potential inadmissibility, often linked to drug trafficking or related offense, though no conviction is required. Controversy, the annotation led to the public scrutiny and demands from the opposition PNP for clarity, with VARs receiving support. Take that away. So, yeah, we don't want to leave it out there as if VARs, right, get back a visa, right, as it relates to the normal status of the previous visa that he had gotten. No, he had gotten a 1 year, right, B1, B12 that comes with conditionality, right, which suggests that the person or the bearer of this visa possibly link with drug trafficking. Plain. That is how they embarrass him. That is the way of it embarrass. So that situation is embarrassing for him to be holding a visa like that. They are telling that every time he travels, they know that, okay, all right, possibility, drugs. Now that is serious. That is serious, right? So we don't want to talk about the visa there. The visa there nasty. All right? Okay. Now, Jamaica, what I'm going to prove, right? I am going to connect, right, with solid evidence that Andrew Ones knew very well that SSL, right, doesn't have a license and have no registration to the Banking Act. They know. Andrew Ones know. Andrew Ones know. But I am going to show you upon the intent of that, what did they do? All right. Look at this, people. We are going to show you that Olint was also in the same predicament, didn't have a license. Olint was not registered. And Andrew Ones was in Olint. So Andrew Ones knew very, very well that Olint was a Ponzi scheme. He knew very well that Olint was a Ponzi scheme. And he ventured into Olint, knowing to the fact that Olint did not have a license. Let me play this. Let us lift up this. Olint, the exclusive society that left thousands. Listen to this, Jamaican people. Andrew Ones in Olint and benefited awesomely from Olint.
In the mid-2000s, Jamaica and the wider Caribbean were gripped by a financial fever that promised to turn ordinary citizens into wealthy elites overnight. At the center of the storm was one name that commanded both reverence and eventually utter devastation: Olint. Led by the soft-spoken but incredibly charismatic David Smith, Olint was marketed not just as a mere investment, but as an exclusive society for the financially enlightened. It wasn't just the average worker who got caught up in the hype. It was the who's who of Caribbean society. We're talking about doctors, high-ranking attorneys, senior political figures, and even religious leaders who believed that David Smith had discovered a secret algorithm for mastering the foreign currency exchange market. The returns being promised, and for a while being paid out, was staggering, often ranging from 8 to even as high as 20% per month. Now, in a world where traditional banks were offering single-digit returns for the year, Olint seemed like a miracle. But as we look back from the perspective of early 2026, The miracle has long since been revealed as one of the most sophisticated and damaging Ponzi schemes in regional history. Today on Money Talk JA, we are going beyond the headlines to investigate exactly where those hundreds of
people. What I want you to do, also endorse Money Talk JA. Go over by him channel, endorse him, because Money Talk JA is doing, deep dive, some serious work. All right. So please go over there and endorse him, Money Talk JA. All right. Cool. Blessings.
millions of US dollars went, and provide a realistic guide on how you or your family members might still be able to claim a partial refund. Before we proceed, if you want more videos like this, please hit that like and subscribe to the channel right now. It will really help our community grow. Plus, you will receive notification when we release more content like this in the future. To understand where the money went, you first have to understand the scale of the lie. David Smith claimed that Olint was a massive player in the foreign exchange market, using high-frequency trading to generate immense profits. However, when the Financial Services Commission and eventually the United States FBI and Department of Justice got involved, the truth was much darker. Olint was never a trading powerhouse. In fact, investigators found that very little actual trading ever took place. The vast
People, I want you to pay attention when I said to you that SSL that took investors' money, right, were not trading. They were only stealing. The very same behavior Olint had done. So we want, for full comprehension, for you to understand, right, why we're merging these items.
The vast majority of the returns paid out to early investors were not profit at all. They were simply the principal investments of the people who joined later. It was a textbook Ponzi scheme designed to collapse the moment the influx of new cash never kept up with the demands for withdrawals. But if the money was not being traded, where did the estimated $400 million go? The trail of Olint's missing millions lead to a lifestyle that can only be described as cinematic in its excess. While thousands of Jamaicans were mortgaging their homes to join.
Okay, so I want to show you a similarity also with SSL, right? Getting all of that capital injection into SSL. So what now SSL had done, right, is also change liquid into fixed asset, buying up properties and buying up all of that, right, in various names and so forth. Very same thing what Olint had done. You are going to realize that Olint has no license.
Olint. David Smith was living like a billionaire. A massive chunk of investors' funds were siphoned off to purchase high-end real estate in Florida, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and luxury properties right here in Jamaica. And the money didn't stop at houses. It bought private jets to whisk the inner circle across the globe, a fleet of the world's most expensive luxury vehicles, and millions of dollars in high-end jewelry. But perhaps most controversially, the money was used to buy influence. Significant sums were funneled into political campaigns across the Caribbean. These donations were designed to create a political shield, making it difficult for regulators to shut the scheme down while it was still growing.
All right, so take note. And this is why SSL, right? And if you notice Andrew Ones, who is the prime factor in all of this, into Olint, into Cash Plus, into SSL. So what you have seen here, that Andrew Ones is the prime factor traversing Ponzi scheme upping, creating damage to investors. So this is why we are merging, right, these items for better understanding. All right.
Millions more were hidden in a lot of offshore bank accounts and shell companies, many of which remain co-leads to this very day.
Okay, so what also Andrew Honest had done is to take out ADMAT as a holding company, but ADMAT established in St. Lucia, where he used ADMAT to buy up properties in Jamaica, right, and put them into ADMAT. So what I want you to understand that ADMAT into St. Lucia, it wasn't about Andrew Honest trying to hiding from tax or paying tax. What Andrew Honest was doing was hiding ADMAT from investigation. Hiding ADMAT from investigation. So Honest property, right, several properties that Honest bought as it relates to getting money through Ponzi schemes, as it relates to getting money through illegal contracts, these monies were used, right, to purchase properties, build big properties, and so forth. So we want you to understand, you know, that Andrew Honest is the prime factor in this. Why Andrew Honest is the prime factor? Well, simple. Andrew Honest was in Orient. As a matter of fact, but go before Orient. Where was Andrew Honest? Andrew Honest was working with Edward Philip George Seagas between 1995 and 1996. What transpired in 1995 and 1996? The financial meltdown. We want you to understand the people. What role did Andrew Honest play where that is concerned? Andrew Honest was doing Edward Seaga finances. What is devastating about that? Edward Seaga borrowed 30 million US dollars and definitely tell Jamaica that he didn't remember that he borrowed 31 million US dollars. So when Andrew Honest gave the interview to Abka Fitz-Henley, after Peter Phillips had called him out on his big house, he was saying that he brought $47 million, right, in the politics. Now, ask yourself the question, where did Andrew Honest got $47 million from as it relates to 1995 to 1997? 1997, he ventured into the politics and he said he brought $47 million into the politics, right, which he only worked 2 years in charity for Edward Seaga. So then automatically, you know that totally impossible. So then the question that Mystic Sensation, Melting Pot is asking, did you steal this money from Edward Seaga? Or if not, did you get it from the proceeds of drugs? This is the reason why Andrew Honest, in a conundrum, cannot explain his wealth. Let us proceed.
The first sign of trouble came in March of 2006 when the FSC and FID officials raided their offices in New Kingston. They seized large quantities of business records, computer equipment, checkbooks, and some cash. After a lengthy legal battle, the FSC issued a formal cease and desist order against David Smith and Olint, alleging that they were conducting securities business without the required license.
All right, stop there. So you have heard that for yourself. You have heard that for yourself, that they were conducting business, security business, without any security license. A solid 2.0 flick by Andrew Honest and his confederates, knowing to the fact that him, Andrew Holness, was in Olent, knowing very well that Olent never have a license. Andrew Holness would have known this. Andrew Holness would have known this. Olent never have a license. And upon Olent never have a license and Olent, right, damage investors. Andrew Holness move on to the next Ponzi scheme. And what Andrew Holness did? Damage investors. And after he damaged investors in Cash Plus, what Andrew Holness did in 2008, venture into SSL. And as he ventured into SSL, what did he do? Take out Admat. So 2006, Andrew Holness in Olent. Damage Olent, knowing that Olent did not have a security license. He knows. After investors being damaged, what did Andrew Holness do next? Venture into Cash Plus, knowing that Cash Plus did not have a license. What did Andrew Holness did in 2008? To take out Admat. So then, knowing that Olent never have a license, knowing that Cash Plus never have a license, and knowing that SSL never have a license, definitely intent. But I'm going to show you the currency of Andrew Holness. Let us play that. So I want everybody to hear that, to know that Olent, as it relates to the very same thing that you cross-carry charge for as it relates to SSL Venture Capital or SSL Jamaica Limited, where SSL Jamaica Limited is where the father function, you understand, steal tax, steal investors' money, you understand, and where the son acting as if he's smart, creating SSL Venture Capital right in 2018, you understand, go on the stock market by through DCW 2, right, and then try to hide the money. And then after that, you know what Mark Croskery did? Mark Croskery also get another company to merge into SSL Venture Capital and buy out the shares of SSL Venture Capital. So look at the wickedness. The father with the Ponzi scheme, right? And of course, Andrew Holness, who's a part of it. They're all a part of it, right? Execute what they had executed, knowing that SSL doesn't have a license, right? Take investors' money, right? Buy up properties, do all of that. Wicked to the Jamaican investors, and so doing wicked to the Jamaican economy. So here you have Olent, right, done the very same thing as it relates to what they are charged for, right, not having a security license and doing security business, right, and not register the very same crime. Andrew Holness, come and repeat. Let us play.
But instead of complying, they moved their operations to the Turks and Caicos Islands. The end came in 2008 when authorities in the Turks and Caicos raided Olent's offices. By 2010, David Smith was facing the music. He was eventually sentenced to 30 years in prison after pleading guilty to 23 counts of wire fraud and money laundering in a U.S. federal court.
All right. The extradition are going to bear out some of these charges against these people. The extradition that is on the DPP desk are going to bear out. So there are several charges. Wire fraud, because we have seen where money wired from SSL goes straight into account of Andrew Holness. We have seen that. We have seen that. So the scale of this SSL is huge. And as I said from day one, that this is coming to Andrew Holness's doorstep. No two-way about it. Let us pray.
However, his conviction in the United States was a double-edged sword for investors. On one hand, it meant he was finally held accountable. But on the other hand, it triggered a massive legal battle over his remaining assets. Because his crimes touched US soil and utilized the US banking system, the Department of Justice was able to seize and forfeit.
So this US banking system is a Swiss system, right? And simply means what SSL have done had triggered that alert as it relates to the Swiss system. And now they really now have the attention of the FBI, right? And have extradition orders, right? As it relates to SSL, a primary factor in terms of extradition. For senior police officers, right, who involve in drugs matter. And what we are asking the DPP, right, do we only have one set of extradition, right, that deals with drugs and another to deal with SSL? Because we know that, of course, yes. And let me ask the question, right, as it relates to the extradition. Can you say if Mark Croskery, Harding, Meany are subject of the extradition treaty? That's the question. Let us pray.
Millions of dollars in cash and properties connected to his name. No, this brings us to the most important questions a lot of you have been waiting for. Is there any hope for a refund? The answer is a cautious yes, but you must understand the process. There are two primary avenues that have been active over the years.
All right, take it away on it.
First, the US Department of Justice.
We want to narrow down and make the point. Narrow down and make the point. Now, people, let us go and show how serious this is as it relates to the knowledge again with Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark. Look at the next document that I'm going to present. Over today. Bring up the next document. That Nigel Clark knew that SSL did not have a license, or SSL Venture Capital did not have a license. Knew very well also is Andrew Holness. Right? Yes.
That's what you want.
No, this.
This is what came up with it. So
Let us see it. Oh, hold on. Okay, is it there? No, here it is. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this is the time.
Yeah. Go to scroll down. Let me change it. Scroll down.
The article is not going to change.
Okay, so we
Because
change it.
What is the name of it?
Okay, all right, hold on. So we can get it?
No.
Okay, so I can explain that document, right? I wanted was to show the people.
Explain it.
Okay, so the document that I was going to show was that in 2013, the People's National Party, right, closed down SSL, right, and seized their license, right? So for the Jamaica Labour Party, right, to have SSL and doing audit in SSL, right?
News is not available anymore. That's why I can't get it.
Oh, okay, but I got it today, right? So what happened is that lose me chain of thought. Whoa, it's crushed. All right. Okay, yeah, let us read that. Let us bring up that. So, my Jamaican people, you know, go to CVM television here. Go to the next one. Yeah, just take that. Yeah, CVM television. Sorry for that, my Jamaican people. A little destruction here, but let us let us play the clip.
Instagram.
Yes. All right, let us play that.
It all started in October 2022 when staff at SSL began noticing something wasn't right. Client account statements weren't adding up. Notably, the Financial Services Commission (FSC) had flagged SSL as far back as 2017 for a quote, culture of non-compliance and mismanagement of client funds. Now, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was also a client before giving instructions in September 2021 for his account at SSL to be closed. An internal probe soon uncovered falsified documents allegedly created by a client relationship manager, later identified as Jean and Panton. By January 2023, the situation escalated. SSL officially reported the suspected fraud to the FSC, and on January 13, the firm closed its offices to clients as investigations intensified. Days later, on January 20, police seized documents and other materials from the home of Miss Panton. By February 17, she was charged with theft, fraud, forgery, and cybercrime offenses linked to the alleged falsification of client accounts and the theft of funds. Now, around the same time, the FBI stepped in to help with further investigations, following speculations that Miss Panton didn't act alone. Now, as the probe deepened, the scale of the fallout became clear. Investigators revealed that more than 200 client accounts were impacted, involving over 30 million US dollars, which is roughly about 4 to 5 billion Jamaican dollars. Now, track star Usain Bolt was among the victims. Some investors lost their entire life savings, including a 78-year-old woman who said she was left financially ruined. From 2023 through to 2024, the saga shifted into the courts. SSL directors and regulators clashed over control of the company as it moved towards winding up. Now, there were multiple civil lawsuits, disputes over trustees, and legal battles over how assets should be.
What I want to show Jamaican people, and I want people to listen to me, you are getting to that document, is the complete viciousness and wickedness of Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark, knowing very well that they didn't have a license. But let us get to that document, and then I show you the viciousness what Andrew Holness did. Let us bring up that document.
This one?
No, the one that you're putting in that folder, and then this one. This one. All right, so let us show the world that Andrew Holness viciously, along with Nigel Clark, look at these people. In February 2023, nearly 3 years ago, Miss Panton, who was a senior client services manager at the company, was charged with several accounts of theft, forgery, and falsification of accounts. To be clear, this is not what happened with respect to SSL's founder and principal Hugh Craskery. Mr. Croskerry's daughter, Sarah Meany, and SSL former CEO and Mr. Croskerry's one-time business partner, Zachary Harding. They need to have Mark Croskerry in this listing. Now, the accusation against them are essential for technical breaches relating to how they function in the security sector, such as not having a dealer's license to operate in the security sector, issuing securities without applying to do so, or registering the specific security with the FSC. Now, the question that I'm asking, FSC, the document that I tried to bring early was to show you that FSC done an audit in 2017. And then let us ask, if FSC carried out that audit in 2017, why FSC did not realize that SSL did not have a license, a security license? See where I'm going? The whole thing is a trickery. Andrew Owners and Nigel Clark, they knew all along that SSL did not have a license. So then, try to create this facade as if it is to say that FSC was doing audit. FSC, what I want to try to show people, that FSC wasn't carrying on any real audit. And they know. They know that SSL did not have any license. So the facade in 2017 that they carried out want to show, it simply means that FSC carrying out so-called audit in 2017 was a facade, was a fake, was a lie, was a pretend. Because if they had carried out the license and found irregularities, they should have done a follow-up. So there was no real audit done, and there was no following up done. You understand? Because Nigel Clark and Andrew Owners has to allow SSL, you understand, to wean more people into SSL. You understand? So that investors can lose a large sum of money. So they help to lower, both Nigel Clark and Andrew Owners help to lower people into SSL, and so doing, right? That's why FSC and JSA and JSE make waiver for SSL to go on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So then anyone is going to be convinced, because that is going to be one of their selling point, one of SSL selling point, to say, of course, we are on the Jamaica Stock Exchange for several years. And they will be lying to people that they are on the Jamaica Stock Exchange from 1973. You understand? Under Paul Chenyang and Associates. You understand? You're so trickified they are. You're so trickified they are. If you go on their website, they are telling you that they are on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, you understand, from 1973. That was really a lie. They used that to lure people in. Andrew Owners know about this. Nigel Clark know about this. Now, take that away, honey. Let us show the wickedness and the viciousness of Andrew Owners. Watch this now, people. Now that you have proved, you have proven, now that you have solidly proven that yes, Nigel Clark, Andrew Owners knew very well that SSL wasn't licensed, wasn't registered. SSL was a Ponzi scheme. Look what Andrew Owners, Nigel Clark, and the NHT president did. Bring up that document. Look what they did. It's to show you the cruelty of Andrew Owners, the cruelty of Nigel Clark. Look what they had done. And so doing, damage NHT. So doing, damage NHT, and has to change NHT mandate. Now look at this. They know. So now we prove that, yes, they know that SSL don't have a license. They know that SSL has not been registered. Why did you do this, Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark? Look at this. Tuesday, January 24, 23. Look at this. Look what you have done. The National Housing Trust, NHT, says its investment in stocks and security limited is safe. That's a lie. The investment company has been rocked by a multi-million US dollar fraud scheme, which is being investigated. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark on Monday listed the NHT among 5 public bodies with account at SSL. Wish you, Nigel Clark, at the time you sit on the committee of NHT. You were on the oversight committee, right, of NHT. That is corruption. You know, sir. You knew very well that SSL did not have a license, but yet this is what you have done. This is what you have done, Nigel Clark. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark on Monday listed the NHT among 5 public bodies with accounts at SSL. NHT says SSL is a part of a pool of brokerage institution it has used to purchase shares or stocks on the equity market. Let me ask you a question because bangarang there for you. So what you have said there is totally a lie. You said here that NHT says SSL is a part of a pool of brokerage institution it has used to purchase shares or stocks on the equity market. You know that SSL wasn't purchasing any shares and stocks on the equity market. So why NHT came out with this? You lied. NHT was stealing, SSL actually stealing investors' money. They weren't purchasing any shares or stocks on the equity market. They actually, as the money goes in, they stole it. They buy up properties to hide the money. And all of that money, right, find itself in NCB. So let me ask NCB, have you found the billions of dollars where you cross-carry or Mark cross-carry put in NCB, or it disappear as usual, where NCB from in the 2006 been hosting Ponzi scheme account in their system and where the money disappear. Now, NHT says SSL is a part of pool of brokerage institution it has used to purchase shares or stocks on the equity market. It says its account at SSL reflects unit purchase in 3 security listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. People from not busy come here. It says the account at SSL reflects units purchased in 3 security listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. You have to tell the FBI. You now go have to tell the FBI how SSL been trading on the Jamaica Stock Exchange without a license. Bang around there, people. You go have to. But the first thumbnail like I put up, cough and what? When you go up, you understand? Doing your squat and cough, you have to tell the people, tell the FBI then, how is it that SSL been trading on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, not having a license? How did they get onto the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Andrew Holness? Realize that your presence in Parliament was limited today. Also, Juliet Holness' presence in Parliament was limited. I wonder why. NHT says it has independently verified the units with John Clerk CSD, the Bank of Jamaica managed electronic custodian for domestic issues of Bank of Jamaica and Government of Jamaica Securities. Let me ask Bank of Jamaica something. the Bank of Jamaica. You didn't realize. Did you realize? Did you make yourself aware that FSC, who manage non-banking or provide oversight for non-banking entities, and where the Bank of Jamaica would provide some oversight on banking entities, right? And also some leverage of oversight in terms of reporting from, right, non-banking sectors. So then BOJ, you didn't realize that they do not have a license. We have to wait until charges turn up, right? This is surprising, BOJ, right? You have some answers to answer here. You have some answers to answer. You have some questions to answer here. In addition to the National Housing Trust, public bodies with accounts at SSL, including National Insurance Fund. Hey, the scale of this thing with Andrew Honest, you Cross Kerry, they are so, it is so intrusive, it's so sickening, it is so barefaced, it is so despicable. Andrew Honest, boy, you have a heart, you know. For still go on, you know. I don't resign, you know. Mr. Andrew Honest, you have a, hey, trust Andrew Honest, Mr. You have a heart. You have a heart, a drunk heart. You have, knowing what you do yourself. You and Nigel Clark decided, oh, no, come to that decision there. No other politician. Not do them mess up me up. Take taxpayers' monies and put in a Ponzi scheme that you, Nigel Clark and Andrew Honest, knew very well that they are not licensed. So it's a way to funnel the money through, to thief taxpayers' money. This is a direct theft of taxpayers' money. Using SSL as a vehicle to do it. This is what you have done right here. Knowing SSL doesn't have a license, does not register. You take out Jamaica taxpayers' money, funnel it through SSL, and directly stole taxpayers' money. You vicious terrorists. Remember me tell you. In addition to the National Housing Trust, public bodies with accounts at SSL, including National Insurance Fund, Jamaica Agricultural Society, and Jamaica Banana Industry Disaster Risk Fund. The 5 accounts totaling nearly $1 friggin' billion Jamaican dollars. We are those monies, Andrew Honest, telling lies. Because if you get back that from out of SSL, it is telling us that you're a key player in SSL. Because then, why would SSL save all of what you have put in, your Nigel Clark put in? And other investors can't get back their money or getting any interest on their money. You want to explain that? If you claim that, okay, you are going to get back these money from out of SSL, then let me ask you a question. Let me ask you the question. Why then you are going to get back these money what you put into SSL, and investors, other investors cannot get back theirs? Let me ask you another question. Why all the GLP operatives in SSL got benefited from SSL? Why Darrell Vaz got benefited from SSL? All GLP associates in SSL gotten benefit, and the only persons who don't get any benefit are persons who are not associated with the Jamaica Labour Party, as it relates to the hierarchy of the Jamaica Labour Party. So when you come out and you say that, okay, your money safe in SSL, let me ask you a question. Why is it safe in SSL? Why is it safe in SSL and other investors' money not safe? Let me ask you. Why all of this that you claim that you put in SSL safe and board money is not safe? Why all of this that you put into SSL and as it relates to that old lady that lose millions of dollars, why her money is not safe? And why all it is that every time that you and Jonas and other GLP operative, right, find yourself in these Ponzi schemes, your monies always be safe. Let me rewind and put in melting pot. Melting pot, come in the space, my brother. Come in the space, my brother.
Well, I mean, the background where you just shape a while ago, you know, the background that have a whole heap of unsolved mystery within it. And I'm going to try to, you know, solve some of them in terms of my critical thinking skill. But first, make I just, you know, go all the way back up to the original layout as it relates to this guy, David Williams, and Holland, and what we say up to him, and, you know, 30 years when pick up in a prison. Now, I look on the same fate the Andrew only supposed to, you know, get as David Smith got in the time. Because when you look on the whole circumstance at the same picture, it's just a different CEO at the helm. You understand? So we know how to look for what extradition constitutes. You know, why they would have come for you in certain critical cases, you know. At the 1931 extradition treaty, where you know the United Kingdom, the United States of America and Jamaica.
Well on the pot. Well on the pot. I could just hear Sister P. Yes, Sister P, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening to everybody.
Blessing.
See the Minister of Bamshelet?
No, tell us now. Oh, go on.
Hey, grandfather say Helen Hell. 51 contract granted.
Yes.
$500 million. Me again a layman term, I go to college.
Yes.
And they use the where you call now, when you get the government, where you call it, what they?
Procurement.
The procurement, what them use? Them use direct procurement or emergency procurement.
Yeah, but he use the government something and buy a foreign company, and then when the goods come in, you see something where Darwin produce them, and where you call it again, man?
Oh,
this
allowance.
This
commission. Him not pay no try come here with a pay tax to a government that help a UE.
Yes.
And buy the goods, and then buy the goods for the private investor.
Oh, okay. So what he uses? He uses discount. He uses his discount.
Yes, use the government discount.
Okay.
Yeah, if you clear if any war, right?
Yes.
For the investor.
Okay.
The place. And then turn on, buy back the goods from that place, fill the hospital, and no proper paperwork not done for the amount of money. And the auditor general put it out. Ellen out there. And that's why I run out of parliament early.
All right. Okay.
Free will. All right.
Me have go find that. Thank you, Sister P. Thank you. Love that.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, melting pot. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I was, remarking about the 1931 Extradition Treaty, where
Yes.
the United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Jamaica, have in accordance. Now, what constitutes extradition, is anything to do with conspiring, attempting to commit, aiding or abetting. Yeah? And in the case of where we are looking with Andrew Holness and the SSL saga, all of these, attach themselves to Andrew Holness, conspiring, attempting to commit, aiding or abetting. Because him conspire, yeah, with SSL and the whole entourage, with the fraud Jamaican entities. You understand? The 5 entities that you just outlined, as well as investors, both from within Jamaica and outside of Jamaica. Andrew Holness is fully well conspire in that, yeah? And in an attempt to commit aid or abetting with you crash with them practicing without having the proper licensing. You understand? Them don't have no license. None at all. Me as a proper license. Them not have none. You understand? So say him here and abet them within that regard. But me could just look on something more tasty, right? And I have to go back to even Seaga and Dan Crawford.
Hold on, melting pot. Give me a break again. Somebody want to straighten another conversation here. Hold on. Yes, Carla, you're on Mystic Sensation. Go ahead.
All right. Good night, Good night, everybody. Melting pot. Good night, Mystic.
Blessings.
Good night, Miss Anne. Okay. Yes, we were on Andre. So Miss P is right.
Wow.
Let me get a little more on it.
Yes.
It is exemption them though. Right?
Okay.
Exemption. Right? Them not paying no tax.
Woo.
You remember that same company with the drill?
Oh, yes.
Well, that same company. And what they do, they order the thing, make that company order the things, get exemption, and then buy it back.
Whoa.
Bought it back, then buy it back. And over some $5 million. That different from the drill, That different from the 80 million, The purchasing officer, you will do that. Tufton cannot say no about that.
All right.
How can you be running a ministry and so much hanky-panky and chopping and thieving and mafia thing going on, and you are the minister of health? They must come to the forefront. And then what he did now is the Auditor General bring that out. And then what him run forward now come and talk about say a committee is formed to manage. So why the committee never they form before Mr. Byron and manage?
Exactly.
That's sure a thief did a one. That's why the hospital sector run down so bad.
Exactly.
Tufton must come to the forefront, answer the question, and he must be charged. And if more on the other agencies responsible, not charge him, and vice too, they must get charged and come out of the position. This cannot go so. And then taxpayers know with them money they will then borrow to come pay it back to generation when they're nice and good with people financial gains. That nothing.
Victimization.
Is asking all bloggers to run out with this one.
Yes,
this
ma'am.
one new,
All right.
Him call out every blogger's name. Everybody melting party, everybody all you to melting party. Call out for flag them with this one.
All right.
This is not going so. It not going go like that. Andrew Holness no, Vaz no, Tufton no, and all me say them for go a prison. They must go to jail and they must step down too. And we are gonna beat it. They must step down.
Of course.
This can't happen. And I just so and put little butter upon the bread. It not gonna work. It not work. No. Jail. take up on the program.
All right, blessings. Blessings.
You hear more about it. We just give a little more panic.
All right, blessings, my sister. All right, cool.
Take care.
Blessings. Yes, Pat. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. Now we see a trend where I run through the GLP administration from a long time. Yeah, and it started all the way back from Dan Crawford and Edward Seaga. When that Edward Seaga come out and state say him forget to borrow the money, the 31 million. He never did borrow no money. That's just the term them use. They get the money, then they share the money. Here, because if me lend your money, you know, me no business if you want forgot, you know, me so supposed to remember and get back my money from you. You know, I have to wait till when something big, major upon the scene, then me I come out and make these statements. Now I see Andrew wants to do the same thing. Yeah? And when you look on the 5 government entities, well, not talk about government as in government own. Yeah, but in terms of coming under the Jamaica banner. Yeah? One of them in particular, you know, we have a problem with them, you know. NHT. We have a big problem with them. Them too close to Andrew Holness and the Labour administration. And right away we know who are run NHT are participating in the corruption. Because watch these people. Remember saying, Andrew, lure all of them entity, you know, to invest in a theme scheme, you know. And Andrew fully well know where I go with the scheme and take out fee money, boy, don't take out back them entity. But we have a problem with NHT and invest contributors' money. Because whatever, if it was a real scheme, whatever money NHT did have a benefit from the proceed of investing in them scheme. I know that wouldn't pass on back to the contributor. But it's the contributor money. And NHT is a multi-billion entity. We all lend all the government 11.4 billion a year. So why NHT would have find themselves and try invest contributor money? People, if you ask this question, it's very fundamental and it's key to the process of the investigation. NHT is charged in using contributors' money to build affordable houses for Jamaican. Not these high-end price houses where we see them start cater for the whole for millions. You understand? So me no say NHT or Andrew Holness fraud the Jamaican contributors. Yeah? And call and talk about the money gone down the drain. The money share back behind closed door with them. Because Andrew lure them in night, and if Andrew care about Jamaica, yeah, and the investment with him, no say him get from these entities where belongs to run the country. He would have give them the heads up. So me know him would make it go down. Them just make it look like it gone down. It not really gone down. Them scream it off through the back door. You understand? And the same thing happen with all of them. Yeah? National Insurance Fund. National Insurance Fund supposed to provide for the hospital and all these things, you know. And for a country with 2.5 million people that is heavily taxed, you don't need to invest not more. Jamaica Agricultural Society. Eh? And then you come now the Jamaica Banana Disaster Risk Fund. You know, see Andrew a criminal. Andrew use the government entity money and shore up them Ponzi scheme and swell it and steal it through the back door. I steal Andrew steal it, so that's why I know say Andrew is a conspirer in the whole activity of fraud. Yeah, and him aid and abet the scheme organization where him is a part of. And I look on the same thing where David Smith get, and you're supposed to get 3 times that. You understand? Yeah? And you're supposed to get 3 times that, you know. And why I say that, people? A 3 Ponzi scheme, and so if the man get 30, him to get 90. Simple. No 2 ways about that, because I get to have something long time. So now you catch him, you just fling the whole book on him. Kind of like everybody know him a participate in these things. Why a prime minister would have so greedy and stoop so low in a corruption? Why? Jamaican people don't need to ask this question, you know. This garbage guy where we have down at the place. We have go about and I do PPR, which we know is pure rubbish. Yeah? Why him involved in a these shit pit? This guy now have nothing about him where dignity is concerned. Because I'm not a pride. So when we are look on this guy, and this guy is supposed to then handcuff as me melting pot of speak right now. Because there's no way him can wiggle out of this, you know. No way. Because I tell my Jamaican people, you know, say Andrew mash up Jamaica and them think a lie, you know. Through Andrew activity in a criminality as the head of the state of Jamaica. You see what America do with Jamaica product now. People don't see is a result of Andrew only participating in the US currency, touching the SWIFT system, a retribution. Donald Trump and the administration are take out on Jamaica. Yeah? Mash up Jamaica economy further than where it is. And also now forcing the Jamaican in United States to lose their appetite when them crave for. Them can't have it. So you know, so Jamaican have to find a way of eating. Because most of what them utilize in them kitchen, it off the shelf. It's a result of Andrew Wallace administration. All of my Jamaican in America, Andrew administration cost this man uno. Yeah? Because Donald Trump now ramp. Because Andrew and nobody for Donald Trump eggs up round. Andrew and nothing. Andrew and Elon Musk, you know. I want to see what Donald Trump do with Elon. And Andrew can size up near Elon. So what you think he might do with Andrew? Just like we want to see I go and defeat him, demoralize him, and also use Jamaican citizen, yeah, as part of the process. Just to make sure no say he mash up where I go on in Jamaica. You understand? Because right now, you know, every Jamaican in America supposed to ask themselves the reason why. But it's plain and obvious. Just look and see how everything just a come down to gravy time all at once. Or something with the on the book long time. Because Trump will always find a way to destroy you. Ways and means where you don't not think he would. He's a guy who like to be deceptive. And when him come at you, you can't respond. Because some of the things them, you know, where Trump put out in regard to this product, yeah, nobody can go around it. They are stringent and rigid measures. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it all when the thing process. He might tell you, say, I mean something where we damage female environment. And a process thing, you know. But the Andrew Wallace administration and the high level of criminality as a leader where I'm participating, that is the reason why Donald Trump and United States decide to, well, then you up now. We are just give them a dose of medicine where them can't digest. And that a go on. You understand? So Jamaican people now, at time when you realize this guy should have get a vote and no confidence from when you hear say the extradition come. If you never ready, you should have ready. From when you hear say the extradition come for them. Well, if you never ready, then you're ready now. Because remember, you know, all who used to send the thing go foreign, it can't go again. Andrew Holness administration stop that. So what are going to know? It's going to put such a strain on the economy. Unbelievable. Because we have a corrupted guy around the country. We are warning about this guy long time. We are teaching the guy way and mode of operandus, how him operate in regards to him being a con man. Yeah? A criminal at large. You understand? Because when you look and see the type of activity, a criminality straight and plain in front of it. How can Andrew Holness and everybody who we highlight, who participate in this corruption scheme, how they are not aware that SSL don't have the required requisite to participate on stock exchange, to angle US currency, too much million and billion run through them thing. Oh, so you ask yourself the question, say then hold on. I saw everybody just fool and get trick and con. And a really fool and get trick and con in the sense of them not no knowledge. At the time, when them sell them was too good to be true. It was so lucrative. The way Andrew them construct the promotion aspect of SSL. People flushing all using. Even though we're not supposed to give him no more, publicity. But him participate in it. So you see how these guys work? Very clever. You understand? Very clever. Because them have the model from long time. So all them do is just tweak it. Every time them change the scheme. Them just tweak the model, but them don't really go away from the model. Them don't move away from how the foundation of the model set up. Because the foundation of the model where them run with them scheme is to defraud. It's not to invest. It's not to even seek or carry out invest. It's just from the outset a scheme that is designed to defraud. Make I tell you, my people. That's why the way the man them go like a reptile, All when Granny go with the 60 million, the man them doing not have sympathy or empathy, Them just chop Granny 60. You understand? So when you just use that elderly senior citizen who I know must have contributed so much to Jamaica growth and development through our time working and contributing to build Jamaica. And these nastiness chop Granny 60 bill. Andrew, is a load of shit. Remember me told you. You understand? Because you cannot, under no circumstance, project yourself to be a leader in a Jamaica. I've been telling you a long time, you are not prime minister material a seat in a your long time. And I know you are not required to do no more work for the people. We don't want no criminal. I provide for we. You believe the space, time come, and your demise will be of such that I know 3/4, if not all, of Jamaican will rejoice. Everybody can't wait to see the back of you. You understand? Them cannot wait to see the back of you. Just like how Jamaican couldn't wait to see Melissa gone about it ways. You understand? Because you was a Melissa, You're worse than Hurricane Melissa. You are such that nobody can even trust all your shadow. Just your mere shadow. The people in Jamaica can't trust right now. Them here say you come, I run from you, Because I'm going to tell you it's a trail of destruction. Nobody not supposed to stand up in your way no time at all when you come. I mean, I warn the people about you. Because, hear me now, you will never change, And one thing can change your prison sentence. Because when it's going to do, it's going to slow you down and confine you to a space will limit your operation and your movement. But if them just slow you for rain free, I tell you, I'll bloom out your tear down. I'll bloom out your tear down because it's a trail of destruction. Imagine a prime minister will say him come from the bowel of the poor. But at least you do to the poor. Because when you mash up the country, and the poor suffer. Because remember them, they are the grassroots at the table, Them they are the grassroots at the table. We are down there, so them there. I try to make 2 ends meet. And what you do? You mash up down at the grassroots. See it now? You fly in from America, come to Jamaica, spend a holiday with your family, back to your village where you grew up. There are things that are there that donkey years them go America, donkey years them go Canada, donkey years them go UK. Yeah? But all of a sudden, them can't go America. Remember, you know, I don't like it's a worldwide thing, you know. I just America do this now to Jamaica. Come here, tell you, me no hear about no other product. I couldn't just clean all the shelf, him just clean off Jamaica product. Because remember, you know, UK now stop it. Canada now stop it. But America stop it. That's the reason why America stop it. You understand? It's a reason why America has stopped it. I may just point out the reason. Yeah? So when you fly now and come to Jamaica, normally you are care about things, you know, over the years, you know, donkey years, you know. Long before the piece of shit man. You understand? But no, you can't do it again. You can't roast one breadfruit and you can't buy bammy. Nothing. Not even piece of ginger. Not even curry powder. Not even 2 cans of ginger beer. God almighty, my Jamaican people. Well, if this no open on the eye, I don't know what going open on the eye. You can imagine. You live somewhere for the past 20 years.
Melting pot.
And you used to go to shop. Well, I'll finish up and up to Byron. You used to go to shop. And when you go to the supermarket, you can grab a few little things where you used to from back home. But all of a sudden, that just taken away from you. That just taken away from you. No, man. Jamaican people, far and wide, now is the time. I yield back the floor to you, Sir Byron.
Yeah, what I want, Melting Pot, was for you to stay there. I want to show the evidence in terms of what you're talking about as it relates to, right, because the understanding in terms of what we know, in terms of United States, squeezing pressure on Jamaica, right, may have very well, as a result of any form of delay in the extradition that United States want. So I want to show the proof.
You just hit the high note, you know. You just hit the high note.
Yes.
I'm tell you a retribution for what them are do. Because Uncle Sam said them are trying to stop the extradition process by charging Craskery and Zachary Harding. By charging Craskery and Zachary Harding, US realize what they want to do, stop the extradition process. You understand? So America just deal with the retribution by banning 20 products.
Melting Pot.
Yeah.
Hold on a Melting Pot. Let me just make the caller speak. Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, good night.
Blessed night.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man, go ahead. We're hearing you loud and clear. Start a project a little louder.
Yeah, man. I'm here, I'm stunned.
Yes.
I'm just relating to the 2 color you have.
Yes.
Just so you know, I feel like, boy, the level of nepotism, cronyism, and corruption that is in my country. I'm calling from Jamaica.
Yes.
Related to the university hospital, the auditor general funding report that comes out. 52 contract value at $500 million, $522 million without no procurement procedure. And you think is that is bad? The university article, you would get tax exemption to bring in equipment for a private company by run.
Robbing the tax revenue.
Yeah?
Robbing tax revenue.
And go back, go find from that private company and buy run the healthcare in Jamaica. If that is happening at the university hospital, you can imagine the level that happened at the Corner Regional Hospital.
Okay.
The public hospital. You buy run?
Well,
Eh?
remember now, from 2 billion,
They put it-
from 2 billion to 4 billion, from 4 billion to 9 billion, from 9 billion to 28 billion. Same Christopher Tufton.
Jim Christopher Tufton. Something has happened in Jamaica. I wonder if Jamaican people eyes are open. If this open them eyes and see people are dying, people are sleeping and feel when it's visit the health in Jamaica. I tell you, Byron, I'm stunned. I came from America and listening, and I can't go up there and still listen. I say, what is happening in Jamaica? And the people there are just quiet. The private sector quiet, the church is quiet, the civil society is quiet, with Andrew Onis and his criminal organization. Byron, I tell you.
Well, I mean,
Try to clear what you was saying because you never really understand to explain to you.
yes,
I'm trying to explain to you.
yes.
So just keep back and listen to your program.
All right.
Just explain that down.
Okay, blessings.
I'm here listening. Thanks.
Blessings. All right. So, as I said, I am going to show you understand what Melting Pot is talking about. That, of course, some penalties coming down for Jamaica, and Jamaica listen good as a result of Andrew Owen's corruption. You understand? And so then this might connect it to the the extradition. You understand? And that is one of the reasons why United States is now putting down this penalty. Listen, look at this, people. We can't make it up. So, Melting Pot, touch it. We are going to play it.
Across the United States, a quiet but powerful crackdown is unfolding on grocery store shelves. It's not just a matter of missing products or temporary shortages. This is a sweeping change that's affecting entire communities. In supermarkets from New York to Miami, the familiar sight of vibrant Jamaican food products is vanishing, leaving empty spaces where beloved flavors once stood. But the impact goes far beyond the aisles of the store. In kitchens across America, Jamaican American families are feeling the loss in deeply personal ways. For many, these foods are more than just ingredients. They are a connection to home, to family, and to a rich cultural heritage passed down through generations. The act of cooking together, sharing a meal, and celebrating traditions is now under threat, as key staples become harder and harder to find. The reason? A new FDA import alert and a sweeping agricultural protection rule have targeted over 20 staple Jamaican foods. These regulations, intended to protect American consumers, have had the unintended consequence of removing cherished items like ackee, callaloo, and Jamaican patties from the U.S. market. For small business owners and importers, the new rules mean stricter inspections, higher costs, and, in many cases, the inability to bring these products into the country at all. As a result, the international foods aisles in many American supermarkets are now eerily empty, with out-of-stock signs replacing the vibrant packaging of Jamaican favorites. By the year 2026, experts predict that these foods will be virtually impossible to find in the United States, cutting off a vital link for the Jamaican diaspora and food lovers alike. This is more than just a supply issue. It's a direct hit on cultural heritage. The disappearance of these foods threatens to erode the traditions, memories, and sense of identity that Jamaican cuisine brings to so many. As families gather around the dinner table, the absence of these beloved dishes is a stark reminder of what's at stake: the preservation of culture, community, and the flavors that tell the story of a people. The foods that have long been the backbone of Jamaican cuisine are now vanishing from shelves, not just in Jamaica, but in Caribbean communities around the world. These are not just ingredients, they are the heart and soul of—
All right, we just want to show, right, so this is real, no joke. Let us just touch Christopher Tufton thing a bit, because you know what? I want to move on to Michelle Charles. You know? I want to move on to Michelle Charles. So let me just touch quick, and then you understand, because I want to get to Michelle Charles. That's who I want to get to. Now, this is this piece of thing over there in front of me. This piece of thing here is crippling Jamaica. This man, and it's corruption. When I look on so much things that this man been doing to Jamaica, and not only that, being awarded by Andrew Wallace. He is one, as according to Andrew Wallace, one of the best performer because he's corrupted like Andrew Wallace. And so then when I say that Andrew Wallace been awarding, right, criminals, then a perfect example of who we have in front of us. Tufton announces committee to review governance and accountability issues at UHWI amid Auditor General report. Hold on there. So let me ask you a question, Tufton. From the first situation with you and the Benz Punani, where you buy, the Benz Punani where you purchase, you never realized that, okay, the gaps need to be closed. So you didn't learn any lesson from there that, okay, you need to announce committee accountability issues. You understand? Where particularly you and procurement as it relates to taxpayers' money concern. You never realize that. You never realize that. But you continue, right, to affect the system repeatedly, and Andrew Wallace award you. But you know why Andrew Wallace award you? Because of course him jump from Olin to Cash Plus to SSL. But me glad now, you understand that of course some sense as it relates to FBI is going to dig into and people are going to be extradited. You understand? So line up on yourself, you know. Line up on yourself. Right? Exactly. You understand? Because they are, as what wifey said, right? That they are getting enough kickback in the Ministry of Health. Now look at this. When we start Cornwall Regional Hospital, how much was it for refurbishing? $2 billion. Remember, you know, from 2016, you people are refurbishing Cornwall Regional Hospital. So let me ask you a question now. Before me even read this, you know. So the other day, when I spoke of $3 trillion unaccounted for, answer this. I want to rush come out and said, no, $3 trillion has not been missing. I want to try to create mayhem. Big Mama try to defend what she why am I defend? This is the way how the $3 trillion cannot be accounted for. This is the ways and means that you people do through direct procurement, emergency procurement, you understand? To give contracts to the friends. Because right as it relates to this, you in and a bet, your friend, you come along to rob the government revenue. Hold on there. Let me just answer this. Yes, Carla, you're on Mystic Sensation. Go ahead.
Yes, good night. I just wanted to ask a question. When the Auditor General does that, all those reports,
yes,
what do they do after that? Because we keep hearing about these reports being done and findings, and then we don't see anyone get charged or whatever. What do they do with those reports? Who is responsible to take up those reports and have charges laid against these people or investigate them?
Okay, very, very, very good question. I like that question. So normally when these reports come out, right? Normally, providing that there are some suspicious activities as it relates to this, it will also now pass on to the Integrity Commission, right? Investigators. So the Integrity Commission investigators will normally investigate, right, and deal with the process of word. And if they see that, okay, all right, the case, right, has all the ingredients to be prosecuted, then they will send it now to the corruption prosecutor. The corruption prosecutor now will rule on it. you understand, whether charges need to pursue.
Okay, but I'm overseas, but man, I am here and I'm heartbroken to see all of what is happening in Jamaica, and no one is getting charged. Look how many things are out there right now, and no one is getting charged.
All right, you touch a critical point. What I want to explain, because several times I heard a lot of people blaming the Integrity Commission investigators, and what they don't know, really and truly, is that certain laws or certain penalty as it relates to nepotism, cronyism, right, that need to be identified and being entrenched as a criminal activity and where people can be prosecuted. So not having those laws, then the Integrity Commission really and truly not really have any solid basis to mount a case on. Because, first of all, okay, if you investigate and you cited nepotism, it wouldn't make sense. You pursue it because there is no charge as it relates to nepotism. You see where I'm going, sister?
Yes. Well, they need to revise all of those laws, because this is why I guess
Exactly.
they know the law. That's why they're doing all of these things and getting away. It's too much. It's too much for one country, man.
Okay, let me just read out the process as what you and we are going to share it so you can see it as well, so people understand the process in terms of when the Auditor General, right, found whatever to be suspicious, right? So this is it. Now let me just read it here. When the Auditor General of Jamaica finds evidence of illicit activity, the report is submitted to Parliament and referred to the Public Accounts Committee. If there are elements of criminality, the matter is referred to the Integrity Commission, as what I said to you, all right? Or the police for investigation and potential prosecution. Process for illicit findings, tabling the report. The Auditor General submits a report to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, who then table them in Parliament. And this is where the corruption comes in. Remember, I speak all the while that, look, you have the executive sleeping with the legislature. So then you know, say the judiciary get knocked. That corruption as it relates to Andrew Holness, who under investigation and represent the executive. We shouldn't have Juliet Holness sits as a Speaker of the House.
Exactly.
Shouldn't.
There are a lot of things that they need to change, because even her behavior in when they're having Parliament, then there are a lot of things that need to change, and then they have to find some ways to change these laws or change how things are done. Seriously, and this government have done everything
All right.
that can be done so far.
But hold on a minute. Where I think the problem lies. Here is where the problem lies. When we are on social media, a melting pot, a mystic sensation, right, and other people, right, on social media, right, asking Jamaica, you understand, to make the right choice. Because what a lot of people don't know is that it is the same citizens who are affecting themselves. Now, if the Jamaican people did vote out Andrew Holness totally, right, and where give Mark Golden, right, that majority, all these laws would now able to be implemented, right? Because also he would have 2/3 majority if we have a majority win. So then the Jamaica Labour Party, Andrew Holness now couldn't stop him. And not only that, Andrew Holness now would also be prosecuted, you understand? I mean, with speed as it relates to know what they are doing, slowing up the process. Until now, you have United States now involved, and I'm going to try still. That's why I find they say them hurry up, go charge you Cross-Kerry, right? And all of them now to keep them up in the Jamaican court. They need to be extradited. And this is going to cause problem as it relates to United States start to put pressure on Jamaica. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so then in the interim of that, again, the citizens suffer because when you have, right, our basic food stuff cannot be, exported, right, to the United States. It's a blow on our agriculture. People realize that in terms of that video. It's going to be a ripple effect on agriculture. And also it is going to be a ripple effect on remittance. Because many of those stores are Jamaican owned who's selling Jamaican products. So that is going to affect remittance. That is going to affect agriculture. So you see how criminality as it relates to Andrew owners and led administration of what we call ripple effect. Okay.
But right. Because they're not feeling it now, is it poor people feeling it? And until Jamaica come together as one people and not PNP and JLP, the country will not be better. They have to come together and know that it's affected everyone.
Exactly. And
this partisan with this JLP and PNP, and no matter what they support, it's breaking the country. And believe me,
yes,
I have my family there, and I'm so heartbroken to see what's going on down there. But thank you for your time.
You're more than welcome, my dear.
I watch your program, and thank you for the great work you guys are doing.
Blessings.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Blessings.
All right. So I'm going to touch the Christopher Tufton thing here fast, and then of course the call Michelle Charles, right? Criminal mind, Now look at these people. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, has announced the establishment of an institutional review committee to address governance and accountability gaps uncovered by the Auditor General during a performance audit of the University Hospital of the West Indies. Say you go to prison. Say you drag out the officer and go to prison. Remember me tell you. Among other things, the report, which was tabled in Parliament today, found that UHWI awarded 51 contracts totaling 521 million, for which the Auditor General found no procurement documentation. Mighty goodness. So then, let me ask you a question. What happened to fair play? Right? So then no contract is not putting out to tender, and they're only utilizing like direct contract, just giving them friend, you understand, contracts, and collect kickback under the table. That is what is going on. This is kickback. This is totally kickback. This is kickback. Among other things, the report, which was tabled in Parliament today, found that the UHWI awarded 51 contracts totaling 521 million, for which the Auditor General found no procurement documentation. So when we say over $3 trillion unaccounted for, we are talking about this particular experience here, where there's no procurement documentation can be found. Majority of that money being missing is of this situation, this scenario, where several procurement documentation missing. And remember Dunstan Bryan, right? As it relates to Arda Tufton, the permanent secretary, pull off a little thing to send down for a study. Because him rub up the rub up the money. And then back and supported by an administration. All right. When we look at a situation like them and our people, let me ask you a question. That nice young lady who just called me, having problem in terms of understanding why we are not getting any justice. Let me ask you a question. When I see a situation like this, and when you look and you see Big Mama because he might eat out of the trough, find ways and means to spin this and defend this. When I see like Chin, that's when I speak about the Jamaica Labour Party government, a fair face. You see, simple means representing the Jamaica Labour Party. She don't understand none of them things here as it relates to the criminality. Because she herself is a part of them. And they are eating out of the trough. You think that Cliff Hughes would want to see a Mark Golan government? What? Let us ask a question. What a Mark Golan governance mean for Cliff Hughes? Maybe I'm going to get it. A Mark Golan governance mean for Cliff Hughes is that Cliff Hughes has to pack up and leave media. Why? And possibly go to prison. A Mark Golan governance for Cliff Hughes simply means he has to pack up with the possibility of going to prison. Because he would now have to pay the $1.4 billion being owed to the government in tax revenues. And what makes it dangerous with Cliff Hughes, these monies, right, as it relates to tax deductions, Cliff Hughes are taking it from out of his employee money. And then,
Given the okay to do it when they give
right,
10 tax write-offs.
this is actually fraud. So Cliff Hughes, let me say it loud and plain. If you collect your employee taxes for the main reason to pay it over, and you have not done so, well, Cliff Hughes, that is fraud. That is what, similar to what you and Michelle Charles done. There's a name for it, Cliff Hughes. It's a fraudulent conversion charge. Fraud. To the fact that you have taken out of the employee's salary these taxes and you did not pay them over. Cliff Hughes, it is fraud. So then, I am saying this to say that a Cliff Hughes and Cliff Hughes affiliates wouldn't want to see a Mark Golan government. A Mark Golan government means silver bangle for Cliff Hughes. Plain and simple. Among other things, the report which was tabled in Parliament today found UWI awarded 51 contracts totaling 521 million, for which the Auditor General found no procurement document. The Auditor General also discovered that UHWI used its tax-exempt status to import goods for a private company and later purchase those same goods from the entity. What does this mean? This means that, of course, right, the UHWI used its tax-exempt status. This is something similar to what Dalrymple had done. Right? Simple means now, right, as it relates to this situation, is to now deny the government taxes. This is robbing the government tax. UHWI aid and abet, right, a private company to rob the tax revenue, the country's revenue.
That company needs to be charged.
Right? So this, they need to be charged. Now, this misrepresentation breached the Custom Act, resulting in over 20 million in unpaid import duties. As it relates to Section 209, subsection 1 of the Act prohibits false declaration on custom documents with violation subject to fines or prosecution, the report stated. Take that away on it. The prolonged criminality that continues as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party. The prolonged criminality. Right? Brother Melton Pot, you have anything to say on it? If not, we are we
Yes,
bring
man.
it.
I can just drop a piece on that. Yeah, I don't like when a guy pull up a book, you know, talk about end poverty, you know.
Yes.
Because under no circumstance, if the big boys them are exempt from contributing to the tax fund, how on earth can poverty end under this administration? Because remember say, you know, tax provide not just one thing in our personal life, you know, that constitute you being impoverished where that is regard. Yeah, because right now, you know, the tax now pay from the big boy them. So the funding for the hospital and having the equipment them and the medication, yeah, like in a foreign country where you can go at your hospital and you get looked after without having to pay, and you get medication without having to pay. So that is, you know, poverty for the people in that regard.
Exactly.
That is, you know, making the people become, you know, like you put them in a space with them back just pressed up against the wall and them can't move. You just glue them to a wall. So we have to look on tough tongue now as a guy with a charge not only for the other rest of activity them, but for this as well. Right now I don't know what the police are doing in Jamaica, you know, because if this come out, you know. If we go get Bangles straight away, how can you participate, yeah, with private sector to import things under your ministerial portfolio where you get the privilege of tax exemption, yeah? But then buy back the same thing from the individual on behalf of the country. Eh? So tough tongue and pick up a whole heap of kickback. Tough tongue and pick up a whole lot of kickback. But of them guy, I would say a fight, even Andrew Wallace to be prime minister. The whole of them want to be prime minister, but you know, say, them are not Rottweiler, you know. Them are cat, riler. Be a patter cat them. You understand? These people must be charged ASAP. You understand? Because under no circumstance, the government official must not be participating in any activity like this. What we see are going in front of it. But a long time, that same institution has been flagged for various activity. Earlier on, a couple of years ago, an auditing was done on the redevelopment renovation project where them have up there. And it was well inflated. And the same piece of garbage come out and play it down and double down on everything and try to be a spin doctor. You understand? But here is him again now with the same institution participating in another racketeering, benefiting immensely at the hands of the government, which is the taxpayer. Tough tongue, I want to know that you guys are only merely there to govern. The taxpayer of Jamaica is the government. It's the real government. You guys are just administrators on behalf of the people. The people is the government in charge of the pool and money will run the country. So, if labor right, them can't see. So, them party is in turmoil, is in shambles. It's a party that has no moral compasses as it relates to develop in Jamaica, they are only cat rilers. Yeah? Cat rilers. Garbage. Unbelievable. And authority. Powers that mean, don't play no devil's advocate, because the more you carry out these behavior practice as it relates to when people from high official, high end table to get charged. You just sit back and relax and it blow off. But if this did happen down in the ghetto, all 20, as about half of the constabulary force and JCF down in a one little place, down for one person. So what happened? Remember, all I know who is Christopher Tough Tongue. You can't mistake that identity. You don't know who is Tough Tongue. Go and pick him up. Pick him up for Christ's sake. This must get some farmer address. Remember the man just come off the back of the scandal of the drill, I remember him have the slang gun and going Seaga down a corner Beryllium. Then him have the McDonald thing. You understand? Him also have, this guy, remember this guy is a guy where out there in a pandemic, a tie up man with rope, And what kind of minister of health this we have? What kind of a minister of health this we have? And when you corner him come talk all type of garbage. Like when the young miss from US did come and, have a miscarriage and want some sanitary. And the garbage talk about why the sanitary in the hospital because the same common people are going to the hospital and take it away. This piece of shit house here. Yeah? When them I rob all of the money to buy the thing. And when them do spend some money, them buy inadequate amount. Yeah? And starve the institution of the quantity. Yeah? What them supposed to have. To make sure the institution always have these things to the public. Yeah? But at them I talk about health and wellness. Health and wellness when you can't get piece of toilet paper or a sanitary in the hospital. She said this guy have to go to prison. Him to go to prison like him have too much controversy surrounding him, just like the Prime Minister. The whole of these men are controversial figures in our society. That must be weed out of the society. Once and for all. You understand? But the whole of them, they're going to tell you my Jamaican people have to them. Entire haunted. All of them haunted, Yeah, because a lot of Jamaican, I ghost them when night come. Who not ghost them for state execution, I ghost them because they're hungry. Yeah, I remember the people I water depend them. Because if you're hungry, you go ball, You suffer, you go ball. The people I water is on them. So they are just in a space now where all of them, them just can't find themselves, yeah? They are like walking dead, so to speak. Them can't find themselves. I give back the floor to you, make the shape the next part of the segment, Sir Byron. But them boy, them a get on everybody's nerves now, man. Trust me. Sir Byron.
Sorry, Melting Pot. Yeah, we're going to have to touch that another time because we are already extended ourselves, right, over that.
Far gone over. We can't put in that tonight.
And no, we have because we have to go on work early in the morning. So,
all right.
We have that. So we will definitely touch, other topics, right? We want to say, we really appreciate, right, all the support that we are getting, right, and we are continuing to fight for our people. Let me just give it to Wifey so Wifey can close us out. Wifey.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for making the chat very interactive. Melting Pot, thank you so much for bringing out the sledgehammer. You're really a wheel it, man. I've seen you wheeling it.
I have to. Things bad, lady. Things bad. And when you have things in your way and you want to get rid of it, you have to demolish it. So if you have the axe taken on, no problem, you know. Yeah?
Sure.
The G-Wa, Sir Byron, General Purpose Machine.
GPMG, General Purpose Machine Gun.
All right, sir. Them look, we never killed that one tonight. I'll bring it out later down the week.
Thursday, we have to, Thursday morning, we have to bring it out, man.
We have to bring out something more, man, because come on, I mean, we come and think we have a few cases and we have a new case. Emerging with nasty tough tongue again.
Exactly.
Controversial figure, tough tongue.
Remember, we didn't even know about tough tongue situation. We didn't know about it. But we have to.
Yeah, a man will buy the world nearest burger for 85 million from McDonald's.
All right. So
them people have to just leave the space now, man. Them get for everybody nerves, and I mean, as I said to my Jamaican people, them plunge the country now deeper than Haiti. Remember, not now left Jamaica, so we have to come out with the GPM.
Yeah.
Come Thursday
morning, Thursday afternoon. You understand? Coming out big and serious, right? So yes, wifey, over to you.
Okay, guys. So have a wonderful and productive and blessed rest of the week, and stay safe and safe travel on the gravel until Thursday. Bless up and tune into Reason with Rattigan tomorrow night and all the other platforms that are streaming. Bless up yourself.
All right.
Bless it. Push the left.
So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.